Okay. Hello. Hi. How are you? Drive time, Thursday afternoon style. 3 minutes past the hour, 2 o'clock. It's nice today. It's sunny today. It's warm. Feels like spring. Has spring sprung? You never know in this state. But as we talked about, looks like we are high speed ahead to the lowest snowfall in the history of the state of Utah, at least on record. Drive time. 3 minutes past the hour, 2 o'clock. A lot to do. The madness of March is upon us. Morgan Scally with a very generous gift to his alma mater. Utah Jazz lost to the Knicks last night. We got college basketball going on right now. Utah State leading UNLV 37-23 at halftime. Now remember, Utah State lost to UNLV on two separate occasions this year, both in Vegas and up in Logan. So we'll keep you up to date on that game. The BYU Cougars are in action tonight after taking care of West Virginia. It's a big one. BYU could play their way up the seed line. They're playing the number 5 team in the country, the Houston Cougars. It's not a good matchup for BYU. It's not a good matchup for very many teams, as Kelvin Sampson has himself a hell of a squad. Wisconsin is running Washington off the floor out of the Big Ten, 61-48. Arizona can win the whole thing. They're the number 2 team in the country, so that's clearly not a hot take. 44-25 over UCF. Louisville has a 1-point lead over Miami, 38-37. Auburn leading Tennessee, and a lot of good games throughout the course of the day, throughout the course of the night. Iowa State took care of Texas Tech, so they march on. Tech goes home. Virginia beat NC State. St. John's took care of Providence. And Miami of Ohio, you may have heard of them because they were 31-0 until today, and they lost to UMass. Shout out Edgar Padilla. Is there one person in the market that understands that reference? My guess is there's not. All right, the latest in the NFL free agency landscape. A lot going on there. We'll bring you some updates on the program. Of course, this time of year, after college basketball tournaments come to an end, a lot of coaches lose their jobs. And we'll keep you up to date on that as well. On the local side of things, like I referenced, BYU in action tonight. The Mammoth are back in action at home against Chicago. It's kind of wild how Chicago seems to have the Mammoth's number. We'll see if they can turn that thing around. Jazz are off tonight. They're going to travel up to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Blazers coming up tomorrow for a late tip. RSL welcomes in Austin for a 7:30 first kick out in Sandy at America First Field. Utah Royals, they're going to open up their season on Saturday against Kansas City. So, lot to do. Ton going on. Good to have you with us. Good guest list today on this Thursday afternoon. We will start things off as the World Cup is right around the corner and RSL off to a good start. Brian Dunseth, he and I have already spent several hours together today doing our television program that you can see tonight on 10:30 on KMYU, I should say. At 10:35, we call it Talkin' Real. It's our 4th episode. Dunny will join us right out of the gates today. Our college football insider and expert and savant. He hates it when I say that. It's probably why I say it. Chris Camerati from The Athletic will join us today. And then I am really excited. Once upon a time, I was able to do a lot of radio with Gordy Chiesa, and spend a lot of time with Gordy off mic, just learning about basketball because he is like a professor that has a master's, a PhD. Well, Gordy does Sean's show now because he did Bill's show for a while, so I don't get the pleasure of spending time with Gordy much anymore, but I will today for an entire hour in studio. And then a little sports court, as we often do on a Thursday afternoon with our friends Garrett and Preston Handy from the law firm of Handy and Handy. Brian Dunseth, Chris Camerati, Gordy Chiesa, a little sports court, me, Spence Checketts. All of you, the great listeners, and the producer of this program, Porter Larson. Are you ready to carry a heavy load today? You ready to?
No.
You're not.
No.
That's
all
bad.
you do. It's
bad
the drive
news.
with Spence Checketts.
It's bad news.
You got to add my name to the marquee if you want that.
I will add your name to the marquee if you host the entire show today.
You got to give me a little heads up.
I just did.
I'll give you tomorrow.
You want to do it tomorrow?
Maybe.
Thursdays are proven to be problematic, pal.
Obviously a heavy workload.
Indeed.
Doing double duty. I got to say, I don't envy the television stuff. It's great. It's a great opportunity. You're doing good.
Appreciate it.
But it's just, it's not my lane. I'm happy doing the stuff over here. YouTube, all right, yeah, we're on camera.
Yeah.
But we're not restricted to the television guidelines, time limits, etc.
I will say I'm realizing what a different world it is. Okay, so it's only been like 3 months.
Right.
And you think like, all right, you do this for a living, you do radio for a living, so you can go over and do 10, 12 minutes of content very easily if you're doing 4 hours a day. TV people they're kind of lame. I don't know. I'm sorry to crack on my new coworkers, but they're not very nice. A lot of egos involved. People are yelling at you all the time. Like we're shooting. Nobody gives a rip about this. We'll move on. We'll do the thing. We'll do the sports talk radio thing. We shot all of our promos and all of our commercials today for both my new show and then the RSL show that I'm doing with Dunny.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like tenants in that building, and the security guard like kicked us out because we were filming. And he was a total jerk. And you're walking around.
You got to get a permit for that.
Well, we work there. We're tenants of the building. And you're walking around the newsroom and people are shushing you, because stuff is going on. Producers yell at you if you go a minute over time. I don't know, man. I'm tired.
In our building, it's like Carrie, Bill, and Gina over there just kind of hanging out.
Right.
The morning folks.
Right.
Doing like second date update. And then, over there, you're in the way of some newsbreakers potentially.
Yeah.
And people that got to get makeup on to go on television.
I got shushed aggressively by some midday anchor. I'm like, dude, I don't know who you are. Don't do that to me.
You don't shush a radio host.
No, you don't. And you don't shush a person. Look, I know you're a man wearing makeup breaking news, but I don't watch your midday. I don't know who you are, so leave me alone. I'm grumpy. Is it coming across through the microphone that I'm grumpy
yes,
today? Okay.
It is.
Everybody deserves grace, Porter. As my mom says, if you treat everybody like they're going through something hard, you're going to be right about 80% of the time.
This is true. And maybe sometimes that difficult, hard thing is filming some TV promos.
I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to find my center, my Shakti, my chi. I'm going to get centered, do some breathing, do some Andrew Huberman. We're going to do some radio today. All right, moving on from me belly aching about things. What's got your attention right now? You college basketball? Are you watching the tourneys?
Yeah. I'll be completely honest because that's the name of the show here.
Yes, it is.
There's a murder trial going on that is kind of like engrossing my entire hometown and valley. So,
wait, is this the lady who wrote a book about grief after her husband passed and now she allegedly...
Yes.
What a horrible story.
Yeah, so I don't like personally know most of those people, but the witnesses on the stand... the restaurant owner who was asked to testify. Like I grew up in these people's network very much so, and recognize both the defendant and the guy that was killed. Like that, it's a small town, so I got to be honest. That's taken up a lot of my bandwidth, but of course, still on all the sports stuff, including conference tournament week, which is always one of my favorite weeks of the sports calendar.
Do they still have that gas station that sells the best like donuts in the world? Is that
Absolutely.
Still a thing?
Absolutely.
Do you remember the name?
It's called. I mean, it's a Chevron.
It is a Chevron,
but it's I think just the Mirror Lake station, and it's right on the corner as you're driving up to the old stomping grounds.
I didn't know about that and stumbled upon it accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need gas. Stopped to get some gas, walked inside. I was like, wait, what? You sell what in here? Truly some of the best donuts you will find anywhere you go in the entire world.
Yeah,
a gas station in Camas.
Shout out to the Best of Utah folks.
Okay.
You go up to Camas and you've got, within a block, the winners for like almost a decade, I think, Best of Utah Donuts, Best of Utah Burgers, Best of Utah Pizza.
Really?
In like a block of that little town. So
wait, who won the burger award? I need to know
High
that.
Mountain.
Oh, okay.
And then across the street, Summit Inn was kind of just a staple locally growing up, and now they're expanding because of the success there.
Huh.
So just a little hometown shout out.
I miss it up there, man. We sold our place, so I'm not up there near as much. And after today, I could use a little Summit County, a little Camas, a little fresh air. Let's just do this. I don't want to get to opening tip. Let's just talk about your hometown, talk about simpler times. And I mean, not people that murder each other. That's obviously an aggressive thing. But
I was going to say that's kind of the story up there at the moment.
Okay, we'll do our job now. Dunny's going to stop by today. All right, so we'll do a little RSL. Good start for them. World Cup right around the corner. And then we'll move over to Chris Camerani, Gordy Chiesa. So 3 really good guests that will do the heavy lifting. I'll just kind of sit here today. But before Dunny stops by on a Thursday, I almost said Tuesday. Dude, let's just, opening tip, play the sounder.
Welcome to The Drive with Spence Checketts on Utah's #1 sports talk. Now into the studios of ESPN 700 to set the scene for the show. The opening tip of The Drive is brought to you by Prize Picks. Use the code ESPN700 with Prize Picks.
A pro is at his best regardless. Vince Lombardi. Get that tattooed. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups. When you sign up and play for your first $5, Prize Picks makes every dunk and every dime, every board that much more exciting. Don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks, our good friends at Prize Picks. Now, look, it's available in Utah. You don't have to worry about that, so you're good there. And there's a new feature alert where it has early payouts now. If your player gets off to a hot start, you have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the promo code ESPN700 to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. That's right, promo code ESPN700 to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, because on Prize Picks, it's good to be right. We'll update you on the madness of March coming up in a little bit. Utah State is currently playing. A lot of Big 12 games going on as well. Some big-time matchups going on currently and going on tonight. So if you're a college basketball fan, today's a good day for you. The Utah Jazz were able to pull it off last night. Good work, Jazz. They lost. They tried to lose against the Warriors. It didn't work. Golden State did not play along, but the New York Knicks did. So the Knicks in town last night. It was fun to see Jordan Clarkson back in the building. The Jazz with a really cool tribute video for JC, who, even though, Clarkson was here for a good stretch of competitive basketball. He became the first Jazz player to win Sixth Man of the Year and played really well. I think he played his best basketball of his career under Quinn Snyder. That's my personal opinion. He's had a pretty good season for the Knicks, but last night, Jordan Clarkson, that may have been his best game of the year. He had 27 points, 10 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3, hit all 4 of his free throws, and got a really nice ovation. I was really proud of Jazz fans. Really nice ovation from Jazz fans last night. But the Jazz got off to a really good start in the first quarter, and then you could see the look on Will Hardy's face like, okay, it's time to play Anderson Garcia, Oscar Tshiebwe go in, Elijah Harkless, you get the call. Ultimately, we heard reports early on that Ace was not going to play, but he did, and he looked pretty good. He had 21 points. Keontae, quote, minute restriction, right? 20 minutes for Keontae. Cody Williams, look, if you want to draw a straight line between what the Jazz are trying to do and one personnel decision, just look at how many minutes Cody Williams plays. He played 38 last night. And after that great hot start, the Jazz did what the Jazz need to do right now, and the Knicks ran away with it in the second half, 134-117. As we continue to kind of look at the standings here to try to understand where the Jazz are at and where they might land, these night-to-night games in the NBA featuring a bevy of teams that aren't serious about competing are really interesting to watch. So the Jazz sit here now at 20-46. The Mavericks are doing everything they can to get in this race. The good news for the Jazz is that the Pelicans have won a couple of games straight, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. Now, the Pelicans are an interesting storyline here because of the teams that suck. They're trying to be good. They just suck. They're not tanking. They suck. They're bad at basketball. But they're trying to be good at basketball. It's not working because they're not good at basketball. They suck. But these other teams, Sacramento, Dallas, Memphis, they are trying to lose. Memphis has lost 5 straight now, and they are playing just a grip of two-way G League guys. Dallas has lost 8 straight, and now are only 1 game back. It's weird how we're talking about this, but that's what it is. The Jazz are 20-46. The Mavs are 21-44, and Memphis is trying to get into this race as well. On the other side, Chicago accidentally won last night. The Pacers have lost 10 straight. The Wizards have lost 9 straight. I think Milwaukee's going to have a decision to make at this point because I don't think they're going to be able to catch Charlotte to get into the playoffs. Jazz right now are 5, 1 or 2 games away from 6 or 7, and that is perilous area for this team to be in with all the work they've done to be unserious about winning, which is just weird. they have more work to do. Because at this point, like, you just shut it down to every possible option you have at your disposal. And they've already exercised a bunch. I mean, you do have to show up with 8 players, and you do have to have at least 8 players play an NBA game. They've already essentially shut down Markkanen. They're not saying that, but they have. They're playing Keontae 18 to 20 minutes, even though it's a bunch of G League and two-way guys. I think they'll continue to give Ace some run because you want to see him develop and get some experience. Jaren Jackson Jr. mostly has been shut down. Thoughts and prayers to Yusuf Nurkic and his deviated septum. Get well soon, buddy. And then obviously Walker Kessler out for the year. So the Jazz will be back in action coming up. It's a 3-game roadie. It's at Portland, at Sacramento, and at Minnesota before coming back home. But let's get to a really cool story today. If you needed any more proof that Morgan Scalley is a Utah man, Morgan Scalley has pledged a gift of $2 million to the Utah football program, Mark Harlan announced today. Okay, let's get to a couple quotes here. Little tease, Morgan Scalley's going to hop on this radio show coming up in about a week from now, a week from tomorrow. Quote, the University of Utah and particularly Utah athletics have been extremely important and influential part of my life for as long as I can remember. This is Morgan. My love for this place includes a vision of where we can go and what we can achieve, and it will require an increased effort from everyone who shares in that vision. Liz and I simply want to do something for this amazing place that shows our faith and commitment to the future of this incredible university and how excited we are for what's to come. Here's what Mark had to say. Quote, this extraordinary commitment by Morgan and Liz Scalley speaks to everything that makes them special and demonstrates their absolute love for the University of Utah. Coach Scalley's vision for the future of the Utah football program is not just a dream, but something that he actually works to bring to reality every day. On behalf of the university and Utah athletics, I want to express my gratitude for the generosity and commitment of Morgan and his family. Of course, I mean, as we've talked about, and as we've talked about not just since the hire was made, but quite frankly for a number of different years, there is nobody that embodies the saying Utah man more than Morgan Scalley. Of course, Salt Lake City native, Highland High legend, played at the University of Utah, part of the Fiesta Bowl team, undefeated. Beat Pitt in that Fiesta Bowl, number 4 ranking. Morgan was an all-conference safety. And after, actually, a little-known fact, after trying this business out, after sitting behind a microphone for a while, he realized that this wasn't for him. And now I'm questioning my entire life decision. Like, maybe I should have quit radio after 2 years and gone on to be a coach. I don't know, but it worked for Morgan. And really cool stuff here as we continue to discuss the potential of Utah basketball and football needing funds to keep up with the Joneses. Now, football has not had a dip at all, right? I mean, when you look at what Kyle Whittingham was able to do prior to leaving for Michigan, of course, injuries were problematic for a couple of years, but last year, once again, really good season. And I don't think there's been a ton of issues as it pertains to Utah football keeping up. Now, as we've discussed quite a bit on the basketball side of things, there simply badly needs to be an infusion of talent and not just 1 or 2 players. This is a team that probably has to bring in 6, 7, 8 new guys, if not more than that, to keep up with the Big 12 basketball peers, right? And the Big 12 is a good football conference, but the Big 12 is the best basketball conference in America. At least this year it is. Last year was the SEC. So, look, I think the question just comes down to, a lot of people wondering exactly why Morgan elected to do this. What does it mean? Like, I would guess Morgan's going to have a rather large say on how this money is spent. I don't know if it's a necessary infusion of capital to grab talent. We still haven't seen the details or heard whether or not the Otro Capital deal is done. Has it been consummated? Is it finished? What does it look like? Where is that money going right away? From my understanding, it is going to service some debt, and then it is going to service some renovations of the facilities, football and basketball facilities. We did see a new baseball stadium, so that's obviously great. But I think Morgan is acting as a leader here, not just for Utah football, not just for Utah athletics, but I think he is setting an example for the community to follow. As I've said into this microphone, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. If you're a person lucky enough to be, maybe a business founder, maybe a business owner, if you're a person who cares about Utah athletics and you've got some extra cheddar in the pocket that you can spare, that's the name of the game now. And you have 40, 45 miles down south. That is a community that has opened up their checkbook for their university, and it has paid dividends for both BYU football and BYU basketball. BYU football has beaten Utah 3 straight times. BYU basketball is head and shoulders above where Utah's football program is right now. It's not just BYU, it's Texas Tech. It's Kansas, by the way, who's just got a massive endowment. So for this community, if you love Utah athletics and you have something to spare, I would encourage you to look at it because they need donors. They need boosters. They need people to come to the table to write checks, to keep coaches and get some players. Now, look, you can only do so much, right? And when NIL kind of became the reality and transfer portal became the dynamic that we were all dealing with, it was very obvious that your tickets were going to go up and probably go up a little bit more than they typically have. Now, ticket prices rise. I will not get into a political diatribe on the current landscape of Ticketmaster and secondary selling and fees and such. Every time I buy a ticket to a concert, it's just like hilarious. It's like, hey, this ticket is $45. Like, hey, good deal. Oh, and by the way, there are $47 in fees. Sorry. So your tickets were already expensive. They were already going to go up. But when the financial obligation of the school changed and the reality of the economic landscape of collegiate athletics changed, you were going to be asked to do more, and you already have. So I'm not trying to bring this up as a guilt trip or anything or tell you what to do with your money. I think what Morgan is showing, though, is leadership as it pertains to what needs to happen for Utah football to continue to stay where they've been and Utah basketball to make progress. And all the other sports up there, too. I mean, we had the director of skiing on this week, and the ski program has won 17 national championships. I think it's 5 of the last 6. And the one they didn't win was a runner-up. We kind of tend to be football and basketball centric around here because we create our content based off of what you want, and the metrics say you want a lot of football and you want some basketball. And then we try to give a lot of love to Coach Peterson, the Lady Utes, and any of the other programs that are doing good things. We like to have all the Ute coaches and players on the show. But it was inevitable that you were going to be asked to do more, not just buy tickets, not just buy jerseys, not just buy food and bev and, merch, all the stuff. Going to be asked to do more. And you're probably going to be asked to do more to keep your seat, if we're honest, as this stuff continues to move forward when the Ocho Capital deal is done and consummated. And then they're going to infuse revenue into the game day experience, which means the consumer is going to be asked to pay more for the game day experience. It's not that hard, right? But these types of donations, whether it's from Morgan Scally or business owner X or Dr. Y or CEO whatever, or rich kid that inherited a bunch of money that loves Utah football, whatever it is, if you happen to have a couple of commas in your bank account and you care about Utah athletics, I would consider doing what Morgan just did, because these are the things that are needed, and the most successful programs around America have alumni that really care. Look at Indiana, right? Mark Cuban. Once they showed proof of concept, Mark Cuban wrote some massive checks. So really cool stuff with Morgan Scally today. $2 million given to the University of Utah Athletics Department by the current head coach of the Utes. So a good gift from Morgan. All right. Utah RV Super Show. It's coming up. Okay, so the 2026 Spring Utah RV Super Show is March the 19th through the 22nd, 2026 at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. The show features the largest RV selection in the state, including the newest models and remaining inventory from the year. A must-see for buyers and fans alike. Attendees will find Class A, B, and C motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, tent trailers, and campers, covering all types of recreational lifestyles and budgets. Dealers attending the show bring some of the best pricing and special offers of the season, making it an ideal time to purchase an RV or upgrade. $10 for adults, kids 12 and under are free. Coupons can be found on the website, UtahRVSupershow.com. One of the highlights is previewing next year's model year RVs, giving enthusiasts and prospective buyers a look at the latest technology and design trends. The Super Show isn't just about vehicles. It celebrates outdoor lifestyle and family adventure. So put your phone down, turn the TV off, and go explore new RVs. March 19th through the 22nd at Mountain America Expo Center. It's the Utah RV Super Show. We'll catch a break. Dunny joins us next on ESPN 700. I got a game day read, so if you want to bring me in, I'll just hit that and just keep getting them. Utah State takes a 15-point lead into the second half today. It's the Mountain West Conference Championship quarterfinal against UNLV, a team that gave Utah State fits this year, beating them twice, one in Logan and one time in Vegas. So 47-32 is your score there. Keep you up to date on that. A bevy of college basketball action going on right now. Conference tournament time. Really fun time of year. If you're a basketball fan, certainly. If you're a golf fan, it's a fun time of year as well. I'll give you an update from the players coming up a little bit later. Going to bring in Brian Dunseth momentarily. So the Utah Royals open up their season coming up on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Let's get out and support these ladies, as when they were here before they left, they were second in attendance in the NWSL. I think Portland was first, if I remember correctly. So they're back in action on Saturday, and RSL is back home taking on Austin for a 7:30 kick at America First Field. Go to rsl.com for ticket information. That game can be seen on Apple TV. Victor Olatunji and Diego Luna are training this week. At least that's my understanding. But we'll give you an up-to-date injury report when we have it. Tony Finau, 3 under par through 6. That a boy, Tony. Actually, no, he's in the clubhouse at 3 under par. He is 6th in the tournament. Nice job. Love to see that. All right, new client on the show. Tell you about my friends at Game Day Men's Health. I love that they are working with us now, because I've been working with them personally outside of work for 2 years. So it's good to have them on board. I can give you a personal testimonial. So it is now March. Breaking news. You're welcome. You may have set a New Year's resolution to maybe lose some weight or get in shape, either way. And it's more difficult as you age. It's just a harder process, right? Like when you were younger, teenager, whatever, smash McDonald's, 6-pack of whatever, get up the next day, feel good. Actually, that's not how it works now. You got to be more diligent. You have to be more, intense with your protocol and very disciplined if you want to see results. So a couple of years ago, I just made a goal. One of those things where you're like, hey, I want to get in better shape. I want to get in the best shape I've ever been in as an adult. I want to look better. I want to feel better, all the things, right? So after a couple months of pretty diligent work, I was a little bit disappointed that I wasn't seeing more progress. So I was talking to a friend about it. We were discussing the process. He was in shape. I'm like, what's going on with you? He's like, dude, go do this. Game Day Men's Health. Okay, so go there, get your consultation, and see what they recommend. So they're currently giving you the very same deal they gave me, which is this. As I referenced, a free consultation. It's a little bit of blood work. It does not take long at all. And then they go over your levels with you. Okay, stuff like this used to be for very rich people, athletes, pro athletes, or celebrities. They're bringing it to you, and they're making it very affordable. I'll get to that in a moment. But the free consultation is blood work. They go over your levels. Then they recommend some products that might be able to help you depending on where you're a little bit deficient. So what I've utilized through them is testosterone and peptides, those two things, right? A little bit of testosterone a couple times a week, some peptides once a week. And I can tell you, after using their process and just following the protocol, within 2 months, I had made double the progress than I had in the prior 2 months. Now, the best news is 2 years later, by following their products and their protocol, I'm still in the best shape I've ever been in. I've been able to keep the weight off. I go in for blood work every couple months, and they just keep track of everything. And that's what makes this work, okay? So here's the deal. The consultation's free if you tell them you heard me talking about it. But here's the kicker. 50% off your entire membership for this year. 50% off. So if you need to lose a lot of weight, they've got the trizipatide or the semaglutides, all the tides, right? You can use the 50% off to get that in the most affordable way possible, but 50% off of everything else, right? Game Day Men's Health. They've got locations in Lehigh, Pleasant Grove, Cottonwood Heights, and South Ogden. You can find the closest one near you and tell them I sent you at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. All right. Anything yet from Dunny? Is he on the phone? Is Brian Dunseth on the telephone?
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties, but we're good to go, I think.
Dunny, are you there?
I'm here. What's up, dude?
Do you want to just talk for the next 3 hours? Because I'm tired.
I'm tired too.
All right.
If you're down to pick up a middle boy from the junior high and then get 2 kids ready for soccer, that seems like a reasonable trade.
I can't tell you how much I would rather do that than this right now. Dude, I'm trying not to fall asleep. We had a busy day, buddy. We had a busy day.
We did. We shot some promos. Memorization for a guy that had 6 concussions isn't easy. And then we did Talking Real that you can hear tonight at 10:30. It was a good show. Felt like you're getting great, man. Like you're so comfortable, so much more comfortable now than you were the first couple of weeks. You're flying.
It's kind of you to say, because the first couple shows when I watched them, I tried to take myself out of it and just like, what would I think if I was just somebody watching? And what I would think is, why is that dude so nervous, meaning me? And why is that guy so smooth, meaning you? So hopefully tonight goes better.
No, it was a fun one, man. Yeah, listen, I think it's the number one rule. I never go back and watch myself because I've already know what I've done wrong. And I'm too much of an introvert to watch myself. Like when those actors say like, yeah, I've never watched my movie, I would be one of those dudes that never watched the movie just because I am so incredibly uncomfortable watching myself on television.
You know what's interesting is I never listened to my radio show. And so because this is a new skill, I've been trying to watch to see what I can improve. But I don't like listening to my voice. The only time I will is if in real time I'm interviewing somebody and I don't like the way I asked a question. So I'll go back and listen to that little soundbite. But like you, I just don't like listening to my radio show. It's kind of an interesting thing.
Well, and you'll also realize very quickly that HD is a cruel mistress when you don't have any makeup on.
Oh dear, and I had no makeup on today. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's just dig right into the RSL stuff, Donnie. And if time allows, maybe we'll do some World Cup and some Royals. But this team deserves the attention and coverage that we're giving it right now because it's a great start, and they really have been without 2 of maybe their top 3 best attacking pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd probably try to make the argument there without 4, potentially 5 starters right now.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the injuries and the paperwork and the challenges that we've seen, and very reasonable conversation that they should be undefeated, as MLS retroactively suspended Emmanuel Sabi for his challenge on Luka Moisa in that first game right around the 50th minute. So the kids are all right. The investment and the focus from Tony Beltran and company a few years ago on the academy is, the fruits of his labor are coming true right now with Luka Moisa and Herzakani and Griffin Dillon in particular. Gozo's flying and continuing to mature. And then we're seeing glimpses of Guy Lavoie showing all the reasons why RSL spent between $5 and $6 million in the offseason.
So let's hone in on Guy Lavoie for a moment because, and look, I'll just speak for myself. I think the initial report was the designated player that RSL just signed is kind of a true 9, Dunny. But he's not. Yeah. He's not that, right? Like, what exactly is he?
He's a hybrid. He can play 9, but he's not a 9. He's a goal scorer, but he's also a creator. He's athletically elite. I told this story. I don't know if I told it here, but I went down in preseason and just was watching like passing patterns and build-up play and the functionality of learning a new system with only 3 defenders in the back versus 4. And between Gozo, Luna, Guy Lavoie, and Olatunji playing at the highest 0.9 position, Luna and Guy Lavoie were operating as kind of like dual 10s, one on the left, one on the right. And very similar to what we saw Mauricio Pochettino in the U.S. men's national team play the last couple of games in the fall. The athleticism and the speed which RSL possesses is off the charts. You know, Sanabria on one side, Gozo on the other, Luna and Guy Lavoie underneath Olatunji. It's crazy. And we saw in that pocket that Guy Lavoie, played to Solans, that he sees the game a little bit differently. And again, he's not a true 10, but I don't know if he's a true 9 as well, to your point. And I don't think he has to be with Olatunji up top and Solans up top. So, yeah, I mean, it's working out really, really well. Olatunji and Luna are back in full training. They're in contention, for potential starting roles this weekend against Austin FC. And Stein Spearings, the Dutchman who was signed in the preseason from Brøndby, has an opportunity to kind of work his way into that number 6 position. We haven't even talked about Arias, who would play the right shoulder of Justin Glad, the Colombian center back who already has 5 trophies at the age of 22. So, yeah, the offseason so far has there's been more hits than misses as we're still trying to wait for everyone to kind of bet in. But Guy Lavogui has been fantastic.
Let's move over to, let's move over to Gozo for a minute. So about, 2 years ago, you came on this show, and we were just talking about some of the, storylines, and you told me, watch out for this kid. Well, 2 years later, his star is really on the rise. Here's what I want to know from you, though. If he stays healthy, and he came on the show last week, Dunny, and the first time I interviewed him a couple of years ago, I think I got 6 or 7 minutes out of him, and then I had to exit. I just had to punt. I'm like, there's nothing else here. Last week, we chatted for over 20 minutes. He was thoughtful. He was humble. He was, even like charismatic and well-spoken. Like, he has grown up as a person in 2 years outside of a player who continues to evolve. So here's the question. Let's assume he stays healthy. Let's assume he keeps working. And let's assume his body matures a little bit. When this is fully baked, what does it look like? Is there a player that you have in mind, like he could be a comparison if he hits a ceiling?
God, it's such a great question. I'm so hesitant to compare players because I don't know if it's fair, especially for young kids, because it puts such a unique pressure on them. But I will say that my projection for Gozo is a European adventure at a higher level than what Andres Gomez was sold a year and a half ago. I think the player profile, the athleticism, the intelligence in understanding the position, and by the way, not just being an out-and-out right side player, not just being an off-the-shoulder striker, but now learning in real time how to be a wingback, being an outside, right winger that's responsible for a ton of ground. And his, by the way, his metrics are extraordinary. It's a whole different level than anyone else. I mean, it's world-class, physical metrics that he's logging in right now. I project him to be anywhere from a $10 to $15 million player with a significant sell-on, and I wouldn't be surprised if that prediction came true somewhere in or around the World Cup. And with Serginho Dest's injury last week at PSV, I can see a glimmer of hope that he could be included in this window that's upcoming for the U.S. men's national team to take a flyer on 1 or 2 guys that they hadn't seen yet. Because after the Belgium and Portugal games, that's effectively the roster. And with Tim Weah and Alex Freeman, really the only 2 wingbacks that are available, why wouldn't you take a look at him right now in this last group of players before you have to name a World Cup roster?
So is he – I can't believe I'm going to ask you this. Is he potentially more valuable than Diego on the open market? Like if he, again, this is assuming he hits his peak.
I think he's more valuable no matter what because of his physical athleticism. That he's like, for me, the problem for Real Salt Lake, and this is just my opinion, is that they sold Andres Gomez for $13 million. So how do you verbally convince a Real Salt Lake fan base who's used to watching RSL sell their best players? How do you convince them that Diego Luna is worth less than what Andres Gomez is worth? Now, the reality is they're 2 different players, completely different players. And Luna is a completely different player than Gozo, even though his stature at the U.S. men's national team is so significantly higher. So, yeah, I would say that when you're talking about position for position, even though they're both attackers, Gozo's profile, his ceiling, I think will be more interesting to Premier League clubs, to La Liga clubs, whereas I think clubs that are looking at Luna, because of his physical profile, is going to be different than what a Gozo would look like.
So let's oh wait, no, I actually wanted to ask you something Pablo told me yesterday. So Pablo hopped on yesterday and said, now that he's had a few weeks with him, he's ready to say that Gialavigi, excuse me, is the most talented player he's ever coached. Ever coached. What do you make of that statement?
I mean, that's wild. I haven't seen enough of Gialavigi to co-sign that. I liked what I've seen, but I mean, that is a significant statement that's being made. So I'm heading to Real Salt Lake practice tomorrow at the stadium. And I can promise you, Spence, that I will be asking him if that is indeed the statement that he made. Not that I don't believe you, but I think that's wild to say at this stage, which leads me to feel much more comfortable about, my prediction of where he fits in this lineup.
Yeah, I was a little bit taken back. I mean, Pablo has coached some very, very talented players, but certainly the early returns, even though he hasn't scored a goal, have been really good. I mean, his touch and vision is something I didn't know about him, which leads me to this, Dunny. We talked about this on our show. You can watch it tonight, 10:35 BYU talking Real. I had Jason on yesterday. And I said, hey, Jay, let's talk about the 3-5-2. How's it going? And he said, all right, that's enough. Nope. He scolded me and said it is a 3-4-2-1. What is the important difference between those two explanations?
I mean, I would also throw egotistical into that conversation because what he's doing is he's making it very, very clear that they're only playing with one striker. That's the deviation in the 3-5-2 versus 3-4-3/3-4-2-1. It's a clarification of starting spots. It's a clarification of theoretically where you want your guys to be with relation to one another. What it really does is just say Olatunji's the true 9, Solon's the true 9, Gialavigi and Luna are going to operate underneath. You're going to play with a version of two holding guys right now, of whether that's Luka Moisa or Noel Kaliskin. Sanabria is going to be wide left. You're going to play Gozo wide right. The only thing that I'd be interested to see is if Jason and or Pablo and or Kurt's perspective changes when Stein Spearings come in. My concern about the Dutchman at this stage of his career is the athleticism of the players that he's coming up against. And does he have the legs to play? I mean, he's got the technical ability. He's really smart with the way that he reads the game. But does he have the legs week in, week out to compete with some of the athleticism that we're seeing in this league? So I get what Jason's doing. Basically, he's just trying to clarify from a factual standpoint that Real Salt Lake's only playing with one number 9. But again, with the ball, without the ball, if RSL's playing a low block and they're trying to keep the game in front of them, it'll effectively be 5 in the back versus 3 in the back. Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to describe the ideal shape in the most attacking form. But yeah, it becomes nuanced conversation with clarifying where players are.
Pablo yesterday also delivered what I consider to be devastating news, both for the club and the player. Now, the good news for RSL is there's depth in the central holding midfield spot, certainly with the evolution of Luka Moisa, and you referenced Stein. They still have Ruiz. But Emeka Anelli, about a year and a half ago, was like this wonderkind's rising star who had the captain's armband, was on the radar of the U.S. men's national team. And they're not expecting him back until after the World Cup break, Dunny. Do you have any insight here?
Wow. No, I didn't know that. I knew that he had broken down. I knew that there was some issues that he was working through. I saw him a couple weeks ago. He seemed to be in really positive spirits, but that's devastating. It's been interesting because if you really do think about the midfield position, it was Pablo Ruiz's position with Brian Ojeda. Then it was Nelson Palacio, the Colombian. Then when Nelson Palacio had Olympic qualifying, Emeka Anelli and Ojeda went through preseason and were so good that Palacio was deemed excess to the point where he was sent out on loan. And then last year, with Emeka Anelli picking up, niggles and knocks, it became Noel Kaliskin's position alongside Ojeda. And now that Ojeda's been sent to Orlando, the question is who's going to play next to Noel Callison. So it's, and Pablo Ruiz is back. Palacio has the opportunity to potentially come back in the summer. Emeka is now injured. And whether it's Luka Moisa or it's Griffin Dillon or it's Stein Spearings, all are going to try to stake their claim in the midfield. I was surprised that they moved on Brian Ojeda. I know there was a market for him. I actually thought there was a higher market for Emeka Eneli. But yeah, I mean, for Emeka last year to be in national team camp with Diego Luna and now be to the position where he cannot get fit, cannot get healthy. If you were projecting competition for spots, I would have always projected Emeka in that starting role. But for one reason or another, he just hasn't been able to either stay fit or keep the form necessary to be undroppable.
Sorry, did you say Nichols and Knox? Did I hear that correctly?
Knox and Nichols.
Knox and Nichols. Okay, that's a new one. I'm going to have to stow that away. We discussed this on the show as well, and I just think it's important to bring up because, and this is understandable, all the attention so far has been on, okay, who are the new players, and then who are these kids that'll look so awesome? But in the middle of it all is a guy who plays the position you played, and Justin Glad deserves some love, man. I mean, he continues to rise up the RSL ranks in minutes played and games played. You remember when he was just a pup, and now he's like this steady veteran presence. You played that position. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think my biggest criticism of Justin is I wanted him to become more of a leader. Like I wanted him to be the captain. And listen, some guys captain in different ways. Some guys are men amongst men and leaders amongst men. Others are leaders with their physical play as opposed to the words that are coming out of their mouth. That's literally the only criticism I have of Justin is me wanting him to make this more of his team. Now, every year there's different circumstances with the leadership and the hierarchy. He's certainly looked at as a leader. So I want to make that very, very clear. But when I've watched, and again, the evolution of Justin was never about the physical side. It was never about, the maturity of growing into consistency. I think what I've seen more and more of him is the pressure for him to be a ball dominant center back, meaning he's got to be the one that's so calm, so fluid in possession that effectively the build out is going through him. And I think we've, and I know this is a conversation for another day, but we went through this hybrid of a timeline where center backs weren't asked to play as passing center backs. They were asked to find midfielders, and that was their only job. And we kind of lost the art of the big switch, a dynamic switch to an outside winger that springs an attack or changes a defensive shape. And in this formation, I think it really does play into Justin's strengths. There's still going to be mistakes, whether that's DeAndre, Engel, Justin, Arias, Quentin, whoever we throw back there. But I've really liked what I've seen to start the year. And the challenge is going to be the continued consistency. He's a guy that's had a cup of coffee with the national team. And obviously not through this cycle, but maybe the next cycle. And if he can make himself a consistent all-star type of player, I think that's an incredible career in this stage of the development of Major League Soccer.
I'm going to hit you with something wild here. Are you familiar with prediction markets? Have you heard about these things?
I have, yeah.
All right, so I don't know how they do what they do, but they seem to have everything first and most everything right. And let me just take this opportunity to remind my listeners, please do not gamble on sports. You work too hard for your money. Keep it in your bank account. Keep it in your pocket. So right now, the MLS Cup champion, okay, the best odds, meaning the favorite on this platform, is the New York Red Bulls at 1. The LA Football Club is 2 at 20%. RSL is 3 at 19%. And Miami is 4 at 10%. So if the prediction markets are right, and for some reason they usually are, RSL has the third shortest odds right now on prediction markets to win MLS Cup. Donnie, what do you make of that?
I'm not using my money as collateral as that type of bet.
Sure.
That's wild to think that the New York Red Bulls, because of 2 games that they won, are ranked in. Did Did you hear? Or I mean, I watched, but they got absolutely taken apart by Montreal 3-0 at home, and Montreal were horrific in their first two games. So I'm buying LAFC. I'm buying Miami, but for different reasons. I'm not buying New York Red Bulls or Red Bull New York, and I'm not buying Real Salt Lake right now. And by the way, where's Vancouver in this list? Where's San Diego in this list?
Vancouver's at 15%, right behind RSL. San Diego's only at 9%. Seattle has a better chance of both Vancouver and San Diego.
Yeah, I'm not buying any of that.
Huh.
Not at all.
Okay. You think San Diego has a chance?
Yeah. San Diego and Vancouver are the real deal in the Western.
Oh.
Spence, like, summer transfer way.
What the hell is going on? This is so weird. Dunny, you there? Hello, Dunny? Nope. I think
I'm still here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, go ahead. Sounded like Max Headroom took over your phone. Go ahead. Nope.
You know in Transformers when
dude, that was wild.
The Autobots are trying to communicate with humans through the radio and such.
That just fried my brain. I'm not going to lie. I was listening to Dunny intently, and suddenly it sounded like somebody was sending signals from somewhere weird.
Yeah.
These prediction markets, you bet on the length of the national anthem.
I lost.
Of course. We all lose. Don't do it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
RSL with the third short. I wanted Dunny to give me, like, odds on one of the teams he likes that's low because he would know and I don't.
Right.
So maybe San Diego's the play. RSL, the third shortest odds to win MLS Cup on Kalshi right now.
That one's really interesting to me. The thing about the prediction markets are they can be moved by just one person dropping a bunch of pennies in the bucket, if you will. It's not necessarily like an odds thing, as Vegas will tell you. I'm sure that the Vegas odds are somewhat different, but that means at least someone is very high on Real Salt Lake and someone that's willing to back that up with their coin.
Interesting. So there you go.
It was me.
I told you to stop doing this.
Just kidding.
You just throw. I'm gonna look at San Diego now that Dunny mentioned it. I wonder if we're powerful enough to move a prediction market in real time. Like if I say into this microphone, RSL has no shot to win MLS Cup, will it move in real time? It didn't. Oh well. Kalshi doesn't listen to the show. We'll catch a break. 1 hour down, 3 hours to go. Chris Comrani is our guest to start the 3 o'clock hour. Set your alarms for 3:30 because my guy Gordy Chiesa live in studio for an entire hour. It's a Thursday edition of The Drive, and it's good to have you along for the ride right here on ESPN 700. Speak clear. REM is always welcome on this show. Was this a Kamrani selection, or was this you on your own accord?
This was me on my own accord.
I'm so proud of you.
Little inside baseball. Phones are not working in this studio.
Oh.
So as a radio producer, I have limited communication with our guests. But Chris is joining us via the World Wide Web in 2026.
Does that explain why it sounded like Dunny drove into an alternate reality last segment?
I think so.
Okay, fair enough. Hello, Chris. How are you, buddy?
I'm not in an alternate reality, but I'm in a toddler's bedroom. I'm happy to join, and I hope sound like my guy is a little tired last night after welcoming his beloved New York Knicks back to town, but happy to join.
So I do sound tired to you. You can hear it in my voice?
No, I just heard you complaining about it.
Oh, okay. You don't have to
Proud listener of the drive.
Well, what if I was just talking about it? Maybe I wasn't complaining. Maybe I was just talking about it. No, you're right. And I think a toddler's bedroom is the very definition of an alternate reality, is it not?
And the very definition of tired.
Indeed. Well said. You know what? Let's start with the lads. We're here for the lads. They deserve the lead today. Right now, without Diego Luna or without Victor Olatunji, RSL has won 2 of their first 3 games. What do you make of it?
Well, like I said after the Vancouver game, I think you have a roster dynamic that now allows Pablo to play how he wants. And that's not to say that previous iterations, weren't able to execute his vision. But honestly, I think the fact that you have a wave of very talented young players who are of the same age, who grew up playing together in this professional environment, and frankly are willing to bust ass to do whatever they can necessary to prove to Pablo that they deserve minutes. And that's excluding the fact that they're scoring goals and, notching assists. Like, I think you can make an argument that this is the best case scenario for RSL, even considering the fact that they entered the start of the regular season minus, as many as 7 to 8 starters week 1 at Vancouver. And I know everyone has various levels of injuries and, trying to get used to the acclimation process here, but it's different to watch this RSL team because it sounds like Pablo's message and just the functionality of how these young kids play just shines through, if that makes sense.
It does. And look, you have a better soccer eye than I do, but it's been really impressive and somewhat surprising. Tell me, I know and I don't live online. I know you don't either, but I feel like for a long time there was this faction of RSL fans that were like, Pablo's the vibes guy and he doesn't really coach very well. Is it time to maybe dispel that narrative and give him some credit for both tactical adjustments and also player development?
I think so. I also think we have to talk about the fact that he's been dealt a full deck basically for all of 6 months during his 5.5 years as head coach. And, that summer before, they sold Andres Gomez and Chicho Arango got hurt and then suspended, everything kind of dwindled from there. But you saw that, February to June, what RSL could look like when they're operating at full capacity. And granted, like they've shifted a mindset when it comes to how they want to play tactically. And I do think Pablo still is the vibes guy. I just think like there is a way to be both. Like not everybody has to be your guy, Jason Kreis, just like pacing the sidelines, furious about, a bad touch back in the day, or, Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. Like Pablo is a vibes guy, but he's a smart guy. He played in a World Cup. He knows what he's doing. And like, I think granted, we have to take the sample size as what it is. And it's extremely small, but the fact that they are playing cohesively, scoring goals and getting results, like it's working. And now, conversely, the most difficult part for Pablo will be how do you go about objectively messing with the vibes? Because right now these guys, this group knows how to play with each other. It's like that, movie Miracle, when Kurt Russell, Herb Brooks decides to put 3 random guys on one line. And every time they went out there for the 1980 Olympic hockey team, it worked. Granted, you're talking about 11 guys, but you're going to talk about Aluna coming back, Olatunji coming back. Stein's going to be in the mix soon. I just wonder how you go about taking out or removing guys from the lineup, considering just how productive they are. But then again, as we've talked about ad nauseum, like this season's insanely long, and here we are just in the second week of March. There will be injuries and, national team call-ups and suspensions and so on and so forth. But I think it's time that Pablo deserves his flowers, so to speak. Absolutely.
Well, Chris, as you know, great moments are born from great opportunity. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not tonight. Not tonight. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world.
It's a good movie, man.
It's an awesome movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably top 5 for me. I think if you're talking about execution, Kurt Russell, who I saw at the Salt Lake airport recently, just sitting in those, those like random white, like awkward oblong benches.
Yes.
As soon as you get through security.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't even know how you would describe what they are, but Kurt was just chilling, man. And I was like, "What's up, Kurt Russell?" And he was like looking at his phone. He's like, "Hey." I was like, "I know."
Did you really say "What's up, Kurt Russell"?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that rules. I'm glad you did that. No, that's an excellent. It's a little Disney-fied, right? But all those, like, look, remember the Titans? Great movie, but strong side, weak. Like the corny moments are a little bit hard to overcome.
I agree, but I think the fact that remember the Titans was a true story as well. But it's that speech in that movie it's up there, man. It's up there with Pacino's in Any Given Sunday.
The real question, Chris Camerani, is: are you a vibes guy? Pablo's a vibes guy. Are you a vibes guy?
I think only you can answer that question.
I'll get back to you before the end of the interview. I have to think about that. Okay. We'll get back to that. All right, let's move over now to what you think is. So I was talking to Dunny about this. There's a wild happening going on right now. I don't know how these prediction markets do what they do. I have no idea whether it's, looking at lines in Vegas, some sort of algorithm that AI has come up with to take all of our money. I don't know how they do what they do. As of right now, RSL has the 3rd shortest odds. And I know they don't use odds, so I'll say the 3rd highest percentage to win MLS Cup. Now, Dunny laughed at it, and maybe you will too, but they have everything before everybody else. I don't know how they do it, but what do you make of that?
Prediction markets, Spence, feels very Terminator-ish to me. Like,
you want to stay away from it?
I mean, I will. Like, if you're asking me about prediction markets, you might as well be asking me about TikTok, because that is so far beyond my periphery / area of expertise. But these prediction markets are just going to capitalize on whatever the hot topic is, man. What's the hot goss in MLS? Hot goss is Xavier Gozo. Maybe that'll wane in the coming weeks, but somebody probably put a lot of money down on RSL and said, like, I think they're gonna make a run. But when it comes to the call sheets and all those other things, it's a little too spooky for me.
Did you say hot goss?
Hot goss.
Are the kids saying that these days?
I believe so.
Oh, well, that's the first
time. Or
it's
hot Ryan Gosling. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Wait,
I don't think it's that.
It sounds like it's that it could be something as odd as that. We spent an entire segment yesterday wondering what we're allowed to say anymore and trying to figure out what the most recent thing is you got to stay away from.
Well, that sounds like a reality check podcast, not for a 30-minute hit on the drive.
We had an open segment, and Porter was trying to get me fired to encourage me to swear into the microphone. I told him I wouldn't. I'll just give you a hint. We were talking about Gary Coleman, and what can you say? Because the term I was raised with, which I thought was just a literal definition, is no longer allowed in the nomenclature.
Watch it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I think he lived in Payson.
He did. We were talking. So do you remember they made a movie Ward Ball, right?
I don't think I watched Ward Ball.
I didn't either, but my assertion is don't make a movie about Ward Ball. Make a documentary about Ward Ball and actually go to chapels and film games where the bishop, who otherwise is a very kind fellow and treats his family well, turns into a lunatic when he starts playing basketball.
Do you want to hear my best church ball story?
That's exactly why I brought this up. I do.
We're playing my buddy's ward, who was not good at basketball, great soccer player, but he had a bunch of really good basketball players on his team.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the good basketball players' dads was literally like talking smack to my best friend. And after and now we're talking about like an active kid member of the church, 16, 17, and then an active adult member of the church, probably like 40, 50 at the time. And my buddy hit a jump shot, and then he turned to this other kid that we knew well, whose dad was talking smack. And he said, "Tell your D-bag dad to remember me."
Oh my God.
And the dad heard him, and the game went into a whole nother level. And it was awesome, man. Like, I'm telling you, I would imagine that there have been more broken noses, bloody lips from church ball games over the course of history than like any other recreational game where people actually just sign up to go play basketball. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the chemicals and the carpet walls that gets people really riled up, but those were the days, man. Those were the days.
Is church ball still a thing? I
don't know.
Yeah, once upon a time there were like organized tournaments. Where I grew up, it is no longer allowed because of the bad behavior of otherwise very measured gentlemen.
That's a great question. I know they started getting, and this was actually starting to kind of take hold when I was playing, is that if you played like on the local high school team, you weren't allowed to play.
Yes.
For obvious reasons. Like you don't want to get hurt, but you're also too good. I don't know, man. Like I would want, like, if they're smart, they should maybe flex to something more fun, like spike ball or I don't know, badminton. But I'm sure they're still playing. I'm sure they're still mixing it up.
I mean, I know that there are obviously gyms in every church, so you can go get a run in. I'm just wondering if once upon a time there were like organized games where you kept score, tournaments, regions, the stake battles. I just wonder.
Stake championships. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like you should maybe tap into your very elongated ecosystem to get an update, because I think we're talking about you and I, only really one of us can accurately obtain that information in a quicker fashion.
I feel like you need to write an in-depth piece for The Athletic on the ward ball culture. Personally, that's how I feel.
Yeah, like if the Youngs have decided to tone it down, so to speak, like if they're bringing peace to the court, maybe.
Well, the weird thing about the ward ball dynamic is the bad behavior never came from the Youngs. It was always And
the case in point, that
right.
Adult who was mocking my teenage friend.
No, that's
20 years ago.
It was the priest quorum advisor that got in a fight with the young men's president. It was never like the kids. It was always the adults that were behaving poorly.
A little bit of living vicariously through the lads, so to speak.
I mean, because you look and you reference like maybe they're going to start playing spike ball. They'd kill each other doing that too. I don't think it's a basketball thing. I think it's a bad behavior from adults that don't know how to blow off steam.
I honestly would be interested to like talk to like poll people, because it seems to be a thing that has been, pervasive across multiple generations, across multiple states. Like this isn't a Utah thing. Like you talk to people who play, in other states. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe they're peacocking. Like maybe they're trying to say like, look at me, the alpha of the ward,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
If you had an extra $2 million lying around, what would you do with it?
I would organize the biggest church ball tournament in the world.
That's a complete waste of time and resources. What would you really do with your extra $2 million?
Oh, extra? Well, that's to say I had $2 million to begin with. If I had an extra $2 million, I would probably try to figure out what the stock market is, because I still don't know what that is.
I'll just call your boy.
Okay.
I'll put you in touch with the right people. I'm not giving you advice.
With the Sharks? With your Sharks?
Yeah, but that's who you want managing your money. You don't want to hang out with them, but that's who you want managing your money.
I think I'm like thick enough where I'm just like, let's just find a cool house and pay it off. But then somebody would probably be like, that's not a smart idea. So, but I would probably just do that. I would act just on a whim.
Say throw about $500K in the S&P 500, let it sit for a while. But
hey, you don't talk to me about the S&P, man.
Because of your intimate knowledge of how it works.
Yep, stocks and bonds.
Morgan Scally elected to give his extra $2 million to the school. What do you make of this?
Yeah, interesting. I would love to hear like how this thing came about, and I'm sure he'll be asked about that once spring ball starts. For a university that just supposedly is close to closing a $500 million deal, obviously not only for football, but for the athletic department and the university as a whole. Interesting, but I think if you look at who kind of Morgan Scally is, you could look at it as an opportunity that he's using it almost to help circle the wagon, so to speak, on the NIL front, to say, like, if I'm putting my own money down, because I would assume that he's not going to be making as much as Kyle was before Kyle left. Not to say that he's not going to be making a lot of money, because that would be stupid on my end. He's going to be making plenty of money, but $2 million, like you said, before you even coach, I guess he coached the Vegas Bowl, before he starts an entire season as a head coach, that's not nothing. But yeah, I immediately thought, like, what is the rationale behind it? And I guess we'll find out if he, is when he's asked about it during his first press availability, or if he's ever on the drive. We'll see what happens.
He might be on the drive 1 week from tomorrow. I'll tease that. Are you attending Chalk Talk on Tuesday of next week with Morgan Scally?
Oh, I didn't know I don't know what a Chalk Talk is.
The lunch where he teaches us about football, apparently, according to the invite.
Only if the original Rock Chalk Jayhawk, Bill Riley, will be in attendance, then I'll go.
Well played. Riles is going to be there. But here, so spring ball's about to begin on March 17th, which also is a very important day. Do you know why?
Because, I believe the host of the drive turns 42.
Well said. Well played. I'll leave it there. So Tuesday is Chalk Talk. Here's my question to you. We have utilized this opportunity with a coaching change to submit a list of demands as media members that we want met. Would you like to submit any demands on your own behalf?
Is this real, or are you just having a laugh?
Well, Paul Kirk, Mark Harlan, they listen to the show. So my demands are the following.
Okay.
We are allowed to watch practice again. No more jugs machines during sound.
Oh, yeah. Well, jugs is number one, obviously.
Yes. Also, when the rest of the media is eating pizza, I want a steak sandwich. I want unfettered access to one of the new suites. I don't want to wear a credential. I don't want a ticket on my phone. I just want to walk in, be able to enjoy the food, the beverages, whatever's there. And I'll leave it there. Those are my demands as of now. Would you like to add any of your own?
No, I'm okay. I'm surprised you left Duke off. Like, Duke should get sideline access.
You know what? I'm adding it. I want not just sideline access. I want to be able to take Duke
behind the scenes.
I just want to be able to take Duke into the stadium at any time and let him run around the football field.
Yeah. You like Kirk Herbstreit has his dog or dogs.
Oh, man.
You have Duke.
Yeah. But Herbie's dogs at this point have just become more of an annoyance.
I'm sure there's going to be a prediction market on Herbie's dogs.
You haven't looked into any of this because you're afraid because Skynet is active.
Hey, listen, you're trying to tell me Skynet's not active? You're tripping.
Well, I just don't want to live in the space where every day I wake up afraid that my life is going to be taken over by a robot.
Well, we're fast approaching that, my friend.
I know.
I apologize.
I know. What's keeping your attention right now before I say you loose? It's not football season. You're not doing the Ward Ball project yet. What's on the camera? Because I know you're not a college basketball guy, but it's March.
Well, I'm a March Madness guy. Actually, I'm a first 2 week March Madness guy. Yeah. After that, you can have your blue bloods, and I'm kind of out. But I think of my Ali Farouk Maneshes of the world.
Nice.
Shout out. You never forget where you were. I think I was on a plane when I watched UMBC beat Virginia a few years ago, and that was cool. Shout out Delta. Yeah, I mean, like I think I said in the last couple of weeks, working on a few couple BYU basketball adjacent stories ahead of the tournament, and just popping up where I'm needed. But yeah, I think we're gonna flex into spring football soon, and we're gonna get a taste of what everybody around the country is feeling about themselves. And my guess is they're going to be really happy about their results from the transfer portal.
We'll end on this because last time I asked you to pick the winner of an upcoming golf tournament, somehow, some way you did.
Colin Morikawa,
who has withdrawn from the Players' Championship. So you can't pick Colin Morikawa. But before I let you get back to watching the Players' Championship, because I know you are, who's going to win the tournament? Morikawa's not in the field.
Are the live guys allowed to play in this one?
No, they're not allowed to play in any of them.
Dang it. I was going to say, who's the guy that nobody likes?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah. He's not playing.
No, none of the live guys are. Jeez.
Okay. What about the one white guy with kind of medium length brown hair?
That's not helpful.
That wears a visor.
Largely not helpful. And you know it.
Man, you're just mad that I called Morikawa.
You just described half of the PGA Tour. I can't.
I know.
A white guy with medium brown hair
wears a visor. I'll go with John Rahm.
He's a live golfer. What's wrong with you?
Oh, okay. Rory McIlroy.
That works.
Is he playing?
He is playing. Off to a pretty rough start.
Ricky Fowler.
Pretty Ricky. We'll give you Ricky Fowler. Okay. We'll give you Ricky Fowler because he's actually playing some good golf. All right, Christopher, get back to it. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, bro.
All right, PGA Tour update. Gordy Chase is live in the studio for an hour coming up next. It is the fifth major, as they refer to it on the PGA Tour, the Players' Championship, played at the Players Stadium course in Verta Beach, Florida, TPC Sawgrass. Maverick McNeely is your leader with 5 under par. How about Justin Thomas, Russell Henley, Lee Hodges, and Sahith Theegala at 3 under? Golf clap for our guy, Tony Finau. Golf clap. 3 under par, carded to 69. He's tied for 6 with Ludwig Oberg and Tommy Fleetwood. So there you go. Players' Championship going on. By the way, this week at You Into Golf by Worldwide Golf, it's the TaylorMade Fitting and Bonus Trader event, March 12th through the 15th. Take advantage of the 50% bonus trade-in towards your new purchase. You Into Golf by Worldwide Golf. Get there. We'll catch a break. The legend himself, Gordy Chase, live in studio right here on ESPN 700. All right, buckle up. Not in honor of Craig Bowler-Jack, although we love Bowler. Gordy Chiesa live in studio for an entire hour. Gordy, I love Sean. It's my guy, but I'm jealous that he gets you for an hour every week and I don't anymore because I used to. We used to do a lot of radio together, yeah?
Yes, we did. Back in yesteryear, yourself, myself, Bill Riley, and the sort of other aliens. We did a lot of shows together.
We did. Well, it's great to see you. Thank you for your time.
I'm glad to be here, and thanks for Porter for inviting me and all the other gang here in the studio.
All right, I want to tease something that we're going to get to later because I don't want to catch you off guard. But the other night I was watching NBA Hardwood Classics. It was kind of after the games were over, and a friend of mine actually said, switch over to NBA TV. Game 5, 1988, Jazz-Lakers. The Michael Cooper shot. Okay, I want to talk about that later because I was chuckling as I turned it over. It was the start of the fourth quarter, and the announcer said, John Stockton with his 20th assist. I just went, goodness gracious. So I'll give you a minute to kind of process that, but let's start in the here and now, and let's start with the Jazz and the Knicks last night. Now, there were some reports that the Jazz were going to sit Ace Bailey. They did not. He played. And once again, the Jazz got off to a really, really good start. And, you know, this is a complex topic to talk about because we know what the deal is. We know what time it is. But look, Will was creative with his rotations against the Warriors, and it didn't work. Golden State couldn't get that done, and the Knicks were able to come back and get the win. Tell me what you saw.
Well, I saw right now that the Jazz started out, you mentioned about sizzling hot. So think about how the game started, is that they made their first 11 of the 13 threes. So 11 for 13 to start the game. Then they finished 18 for 36, which is 15%. So the three-point shooting was absolutely sensational last night. All right, the Knicks, they were stunned that the Jazz second unit and other sorted players, they played really hard.
Yeah, they did.
They did. I mean, I'm simplifying the narrative, Spence, but these guys, you know, this thing called tanking, I actually agree with it in the sense that once you decided that, you know, presently, I wish it was done 3 years ago, just right from the beginning, because then this painful process would be more in front of us as far as almost over.
Yeah.
All right. So the players that are on the court last night, they want to win, to their credit. Because remember, they're playing for themselves, but for other teams. And so, Spence, can you imagine someone said to you, don't play well tonight because in the big picture that we don't want to be successful, but you're saying, yes, I want to be successful.
Sure, yeah.
And so that's a dilemma. All right, so with that said, so that was, I'm describing right there, Bryce Sensabaugh, who can shoot the ball, Spence, and we all like shooters. 29 points, 6-11 from threes, but it's how he did it. And he's got that stroke, and he's got confidence. And Ace Bailey, who might have been a scratch, he has, as far as illness, he 21 points. He performed well. All right, Knickerbockers, they had to win that game. They are back-to-back L.A. You know, Spence, when you go to L.A., Clippers and Lakers, and then I call it Manhattan Beach, and I call it also West Hollywood. There's so many temptations.
Yep.
Only second, Spence. You can always book it, Spence. Whenever you play the Toronto Raptors at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, the chances of the Raptors of winning are absolutely, they're like 90% because for the listeners right now, Toronto is probably the most, in North America, the most European city. So when all the European guys, Euros, go to Toronto a night before on a Saturday night, yikes.
Having a good time.
They ball out on Saturday night, having a good time.
Yeah.
So which means the Raptors are going to what? Usually win that game. Knicks, coming back from L.A., back-to-back. They play the Pacers on Friday in Indianapolis. All right, so the Knicks, they start out slow. Brunson couldn't make a shot. Knicks double-teaming him schematically. Double-teaming him. The Knicks didn't recognize as far as making plays. The second half, they adjusted. They used a short corner roll to Anunoby and also to Karl Anthony Towns, and they hit the corner, either for the three-point shot or they drove it. Brunson played great second half. 28 points, 8 assists, 3 steals from the foul line, 10 for 11. All right, let's add to this. So the Jazz are playing hard, sometimes good technique defensively, sometimes bad technique. The Knicks go from the foul line, 21 for 22, 95%.
Yeah.
So you're playing hard. The Jazz, lack of technique some of the time, getting some cheap fouls, because, you know, referees, when the guy says, the ref says consciously, what is so-and-so? Who's that guy in the court? It has to be a foul. And that's what happened. So the Knicks showed their courage. They knocked their knockout punch right now, and that's what they had to win the game, and they did. Last point about that. Don't you wish, Spence, someone would pay you $73,153 for the next 10 days?
It would be nice.
I wish Porter could get paid $73,153 for 10 days' work here at ESPN Radio 700.
He deserves it.
He deserves it, right. I just described last night Anderson Garcia, that the young fella, hey, I can play this game. Yes, you can. He gets a chance for a 10-day contract. He plays 25 minutes in his NBA debut, 6 points, 9 rebounds. Spence, he just plays hard. There's no any better.
Yeah.
What's the offense? I don't know. I'm just gonna crash the boards. I'm just gonna cut when the guy's near me, and I'm just gonna run the floor. Hey, good for you.
Yeah. It's interesting. I just want to know what your thoughts are on the lineup decisions that Will Hardy is making, the lineup decisions that the Washington Wizards are making. I mean, we can talk about the Bam game, scoring 83 points. The oldest starter for the Wizards was 21. They started 3 20-year-olds, a 19-year-old, and a 21-year-old. Because, look, these coaches are now a part of what the organization is trying to do, which is hold on to their draft capital. I can't imagine what Jerry Sloan would have said if an owner walked into your coach's room and said, hey, coach, we are going to be unserious about competing, so let's play the young kids. Right? I mean, what? Jerry would not have been on board with that, but these coaches are part of the plan, Gordy.
Yes, they are. Exactly right. It's a different generation. There's more at stake right now as far as the economic part of it. Absolutely. So that drives so much. Follow the money. It's a truism.
Yep.
It actually is. All right. And yesteryear, and again, I'm not living in the past. I live in 2026, and let's future out, is that it would never happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I say never, Spence, I mean never.
Yeah.
Knickerbocker basketball, Spence, that would never happen.
Right.
Knicks.
Yeah.
Never.
Yep.
Because the stakes are high, because of you think your team has a chance to contend, and also that it's so important right now that you develop winning habits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a dilemma right now. Yeah, I want to play the young guys. Young guys, that you gain experience by playing in a game. I get it. However, what you also want to do is also have a level of accountability. If you keep making the same mistake all the time, after explaining with calmness about what is the mistake is, and you keep doing it, then you've got to have much stronger messaging.
Yeah, well said. I want to stay in the Jazz space for a minute. Then I actually have a couple of questions about the Knicks, because the East is interesting with Detroit coming back a little bit and Tatum actually making his return. But since I don't get the chance to do this with you very much, before the start of the season, I heard from multiple people that said Keontae is ready. He had a really good offseason. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's worked hard. And I'm curious as to whether or not that's team propaganda or if it was actually going to be real. And he comes out of the gates blazing. And you go, okay, well, let's wait for a second. And then after a few months, it was time to say, look, this looks real with him. So on offense, Gordy, what do you see specifically from Keontae that indicates he's improved? And how can we get him to just improve a little bit on the other side of the floor?
Yes, offensively, he's shooting much more with balance. As you know, is that when your feet are set, the chances of going are much greater as far as three-point shooting and also that middle game. And now he's added a drive component where he's able to absorb contact and also has that interesting lean-in where he creates contact with the defensive player, and the ref gives him that call, and defensive player right now, Spence, has angry feelings towards the referee.
Yeah.
If you get my drift.
Yeah.
All right, so let's add to that. So drive game's better. Three-point shot is much more accurate based on his footwork, and also just generally speaking, he plays without the ball a lot more. Previous years, he would over-dribble to the extreme. All right, so that part of his game now has been slightly lesser, which is good. It's encouraging. Now, defense. So he's averaging over 24 points per game. He's more efficient. He does pass the ball, which he always did, and you get the feeling that he offensively he's confident. Is that I can do this. I can ball with these guys at any moment, and he can score against most good teams' defenses. Now, however, when the defense gets better with him, with more physicality to start the movement, he's got to be able to not over-dribble and panic defensively. Now, that's the catch right now. The Jazz, unfortunately, have been ranked 29 to 30th, give or take, what Spence mentioned before about the Wizards as far as being the least team in the NBA as far as defensively. Wizards and Jazz go back and forth, 29-30 based on the most previous game. All right, so if you play 27 minutes a game or more, you're part of the reason why a team is winning, which is wonderful, or you're part of the reason why a team is losing. And when I say losing, that means that defensively. So he's got to improve himself 3 things. 1, ball containment. Without getting so technical, the ability to guard the ball and be in your stance. If the guy's lightning fast with the ball, then we call it cushion stance, where you play in a cushion. You press up to try initially slow him down and then slightly go backwards as far as with balance, though, to cushion the ball, meaning what? Numbers, we call it numbers on numbers. So Spence is wearing number 40. Spence, what number we were in high school?
Number 3.
Number 3.
John Starks.
John
my guy,
Starks.
My
okay.
guy.
You wild thing, you.
I know, right? It was the wrong mentor, but
no, I like John. So number 3. So if he's number 3, I'm guarding Spence number 3 jersey by what? Meaning what? Staying in front of him. Second part of that, screening action. If you're a 2 guard in the NBA or a point guard or a small forward, most often you're going to get screening action on a curl cut. So the question is, how do I navigate that screen? Without getting so technical, you got to lower your shoulder. The lower you get your shoulder to navigate through the screen, we call that gradient side. I step into the cutter who's cutting on a curl action, and I decide to stay in his body or slide through the screen. Either or. Here's what most players do, Spence, unfortunately. I call dish rag defense. They run into the screen and like a dish rag, they fall down on the ground. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. Yeah. The third thing is this. When you're a winning defensive player, you play help-to-helper defense, where you never let a teammate be on an island by himself, one-on-one. I'm always stunting. I'm always almost double-teaming, quite almost, to make the deception moves. Versus what? I hug my player, the guy I'm guarding, on the offside of the court, and I give really very little help. And if you give late help, don't that mean, Spence? You give no help.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm describing Keontae George to him to get better.
Let me follow up with this. What, when it comes to a player that has the speed and the ability to guard, but doesn't, is that just a will and a want to? Is it just effort? Is it focus? Because there's so many players that are built to be two-way guys, but end up only wanting to get buckets or play offense. And then on defense, you're like, wait, where are you at? We can see that you can run. We can see that you can jump. We can see that you absorb contact on offense. Why aren't you doing it on defense? Like, what's the explanation?
1, effort. So again, you have to value it. So playing defense is about effort and technique. Now, in the NFL, Spence, if I'm a D-back or if I'm a safety, technique is everything.
Yeah.
When you're guarding a receiver, and so on screening action, I'm guarding a cutter, which is basically a receiver.
Right.
And as far as the ball, containment. What you want to do is you have to have personal pride in yourself with technique. And now, Spence, next part of that is there has to be peer pressure on the court by your floor mates. What are you doing? Why aren't you ball containing? Why aren't you help-to-helper mandate as far as defense? This guy's punking you on the boards right now. When we give help as far as the big guy, and the big guy slides down the lane, Mitchell Robinson last night slides down the lane, I have to rotate over and stick him off the boards. The Jazz last night, Mitchell Robinson, who plays hard, got 13 rebounds in 20 minutes and 5 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
And that was a huge part of the game.
Yeah.
So that tells us, Spence, that the player didn't rotate underneath. So Keontae George and many other players. So it's not only one guy. It's a whole bunch of players in the NBA. Effort, technique, and peer pressure.
Let's move over to I'm going to try to limit the Jazz conversation to players that I think are part of the plan. Not just now, but moving forward. And there's a lot to like about Ace, isn't there? I mean, just the measurables, just the way he's built. And, this modern day NBA basketball, not just NBA, but, once upon a time, Ace would have, oh, wait, you're tall? Okay, you're going to be on the block, and we're going to teach you how to be a big, and you're going to score in transition. And he can dribble, he can pass, he can shoot it. Tell me what you've seen as far as his evolution and how good you think Ace Bailey can be if he keeps working.
Oh, he's one major talent. So the fifth pick of the draft, they hit the jackpot with him. He has a good personality. Is that he's joyful. It sounds so trivial. What do you mean joyful? I mean, like he's happy to be on the court with Salt Lake City with his teammates and floor mates, which is actually a part of the mental focus. What he can do, he can create his own shot, one-on-one, that he can get that ball off the dribble and elevate and create, and that he's a good offensive rebounder. So what he lacks as far as physicality, he makes up an effort and the willingness to crash the boards. And what he does is that a lot of times Spence, see, the Jazz take a lot of three-point shots. That's their part of their offensive scheme. So offensively, when you go to the boards on a three-point shot attempt, Spence, just generally speaking, don't crash the glass, crash the paint, meaning paint area. The ball's bouncing out long, and that's really a lot of chase-down rebounds by Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
So, Spence, he has the ability to be an all-star someday. Yeah, he's so young. Just visualize him 5 years from now. Now, here's the guy he has to outplay now. I'm looking forward. I said this recently, Spence, to a friend of ours, back east, the same person I know too, is Amin Thompson of the Houston Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
So Ace Bailey has to outplay him for the next 12 years.
Huh. That would be a win.
No,
he's a good player.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, I always say with young fellas, don't judge them against the all-stars that are 31 years old. That's not fair to them.
Yeah.
That's a 10-year age difference right now. Try to judge your guy on your favorite team, your young fella, against the other younger people in their age group within a 2 to 4 year window. As far as if Ace will be 21 in August he turns 21, judge him against somebody between 20 and 24. That's a fair analogy. So again, with Thompson of the Houston Rockets, Ace has got to be like him, where a two-way player, where he scores 15, 16 a game, but he can defend unbelievable, and he moves the ball, and he runs in transition, and he has those winning intangibles.
Tell me what you're seeing from him defensively specifically, because it does seem like he has the ability. Because if the Jazz are going to be good, and I do want to talk about next year in a moment, and, Lowry, Jaren Jackson Jr., but they're going to need one of their, and it feels like they think Ace is a 2 or a 3, right? Like a hybrid wing. What does he have to do to be the guy that when a Durant is in town or Devin Booker or whatever, Ace can guard the other team's best perimeter offensive player? How does that evolution happen?
It happens by one, ball containment, screening action as far as technique, just generally speaking, stunt at the dribbler, give help, organize help, and recover out as far as closeout three-point defense, run the floor in transition. They get back tips.
Yeah.
So Spence, when was the last time a Utah Jazz player got a back tip in transition?
Feels like a long time.
Yeah, you got that right. I used to challenge the Jazz players in yesteryear to say Brian Russell type, just like this. Brian, you mean to tell me that you can't run back on defense with all your speed and all your toughness? You can't get one back tip against Rod Strickland? What am I missing here?
Rod Strickland.
Yeah, Rod Strickland.
Love it.
He's an example, like old school. And so that besides the technique of doing it, of running your hand through the ball versus the hand through the dribbler's body, it's an effort. You crash the boards, you don't get the offensive rebound, you run back and try to get the ball back. We call that U-turn baskets, where I get a back tip in transition and I throw the ball to the guy ahead of it for a U-turn basket.
Do you see some of this stuff from Ace defensively?
Yes, I do.
You do.
Absolutely.
Good. That's great news.
No, I do.
Good.
This Ace Bailey, he's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Spence, I'm hoping this year, if the Jazz do pick right now, as we speak right now, the Jazz pick number 5. As we speak right now, it fluctuates back and forth. And it's a different discussion. All these teams absolutely losing bizarreness as far as to the extreme of the extreme. Did I say extreme, Spence?
You did, yeah. You're not wrong, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
And so Ace Bailey at number 5 last year, I hope to the Lord, the lottery gods, at the 5th pick this year is as good as Ace.
Huh? Really?
The 5th pick.
Okay.
I know 1, 2, and 3 are great.
Yeah.
Even 4.
Yeah.
If I'm again 1, 2, 3, and 4, absolutely knockout talent. We love you, dog. Everything. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can debate the order. That's the first thing. And the second thing, most of them are going to be guards.
Yeah.
Most.
Yep.
Most are going to be guards. And again, there might be an outlier the next few months. I get it. I understand it. So Ace Bailey this year at number 5, jackpot.
Can you, let's see, I'm just trying to think in my head. AJ 1, right? AJ DeMonza 1.
Yeah.
Darren Peterson 2. Cameron Boozer 3. Is it Caleb? Caleb Wilson 4? Okay, so you like him. You like Caleb.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Right, good.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. He's a running 4-man. Running 4-man. That guy's got talent.
Yeah.
I love him. He knows how to play the game as a young. These guys are 19 years old. Spence, when you were 19 years old, you were going down from Connecticut, Fairfield County, to try to go to Midtown Manhattan.
Yes.
And have some and have some fun.
I can't argue with that.
Right, you were
You're
19.
Right.
These guys are playing against in the NBA arenas, and they're being body checked by men that are 34 years old.
So if you have a message to Jazz fans about the draft, is it safe to say you think there are 4 potential franchise-changing pieces, and only 4?
No, the answer is there's 4 that I can see right now, but there's always someone's going to emerge.
For sure.
Yeah, always. So again, hey, do you like Jimmy Butler as far as All-Star? He's picked number 30.
Yeah.
Hey, what about that guy from Serbia? That guy that really can't jump. He's slow. Is he like sort of goofy? Really?
Right.
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
3-time MVP. Outrageous. That guy's one of the best players in the world. And so it just shows you that, there'll be other guys in the draft that will absolutely emerge. But as of right now, those top 4, and there's 4, you can debate 1, 2, 3, or 4. But those guys, whoever get those first 4 guys, you're almost sure those guys have the potential to be minimum all-stars, some franchise players.
And you would take AJ 1, right?
I would absolutely.
Okay.
I love that guy's game. Like you saw that in the tournament right now. They play Houston Cougars tonight in a little while, and the Cougars are serious about playing defense.
Yeah.
They're very. I love the Cougars. Houston and Calvin Sampson, former Milwaukee Bucks assistant under Scott Skiles.
That's right.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. So with AJ, he can score the ball. He can go over the top of the defense one-on-one. He can rebound in traffic, and he does try to pass the ball. So when he gets double-teamed all the time, he does move the ball. And if I was counseling him, is that, yes, move the ball because you're a team player, but every once in a while you say to yourself, I'm going to go through the double team and dribble split them and get them off me. And I always say it all the time. When you used to double team, we'll say, John Stockton, we used to say to him all the time, John, split them early in the game to make sure they know that you're serious about what. You're not going to pass the ball every single time to someone else. You're going to split them and make a pass yourself to keep the offense going. It's more freelance versus not being passive, but conceding to the scheme. Never concede. And you're a star player. Never concede to the scheme. Mm-hmm. I'm the scheme offensively.
Yeah.
I'm going to counter that right away.
Yeah. For the sake of time, I'm going to include the following players in this question. Because, we know that Lowry's part of the plan and Jaren Jackson Jr. is part of the plan, and I think Walker is going to be back, and we already talked about Keontae and Ace, and then they're going to draft hopefully a really good player as long as they keep their asset, which I think they're going to. So that leads us to the group of Bryce Sensabaugh, Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski. Let's see. I'll throw Cody in there, Cody Williams. I think those 4 are the group as far as, are they part of the future plan, Gordy? Bryce Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, Isaiah Collier, Cody Williams. The other 4 kind of young players. You referenced Bryce. Look, if you can shoot it like that, somebody's going to find a place for you. But of those 4 guys, who's around for the long haul?
Bryce.
Yeah,
Bryce.
And he's the only one?
Well, no. Well, Bryce, because he can shoot the ball and he's physical. Filipowski on a 50-win team, Spence, will be your 9th or 10th man because you love him. As far as him hustling, running the floor, stick-back rebounds, he'll get better offensively as far as more skilled. So you want him around also. See, here's the question right now, Spence, philosophically. Isaiah Collier is 7th in the NBA in assists right now. 7th.
Yeah.
All right, so this guy can play in the NBA, and he's good. He's a bully scorer. Now, he can score as far as driving in mid-range game. His three-point shooting is wobbly. It's frosty. It's icy. Okay. So that's a factor right now. But Spence, here's the question philosophically. If the Jazz do draft, let's say at 5, and they draft a point guard, All right. So things change now.
Kingston Fleming's the kid, yeah.
Absolutely. That guy's a good player.
He is,
I like him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that might happen.
Yeah.
All right. So Keontae George averaging 24 points a game. He's a guard. He's not really a point guard or two guard. He's a guard, and that's commendable. It's good. All right. Now, Harkless is part of the equation because you want your third point guard, whoever it's going to be in your team, to be defensive minded and be what? Coach friendly.
And he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, Spence, he works absolutely cheap.
Right.
So you get a relief on the salary cap and luxury tax someday because your third point guard can play serious defense. Hey, Spence, all I know is what I see, not what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
The other day when the Jazz are playing, fighting, clawing, playing against the Denver Nuggets, who are a very good team, all I know is that Harkless is biting up on Jokic at the top of the elbow, and Jokic had a hard time. It's almost like blasphemy. I know, Gordy, you're tripping, Gordon, right now. You're something wrong with you, Gordy. You're showing your age right now. No, I'm not. I know I'm aging, but I'm not. Is that Harkless did a good job.
He did.
Staying in front of him and chesting him, numbers on numbers, and Jokic had a hard time maneuvering around him.
Yeah.
So your third point guard, he's almost a better version of Chris Dunn.
Okay.
And Chris Dunn with the Clippers right now is that glue guy with the other guys in the team.
Yeah.
All right. So with Collier, then, if you pick number 5, a point guard, what do you do with Collier now?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
No, I mean, so the answer is no one knows that narrative's going to be, but that's a question that will be addressed if that happens.
Yeah.
Because you like Collier. He's good.
Sure.
He's good. He's a good player. Here's the worst scenario. He's your backup point guard for the next 10 years.
Right. And you could do a lot worse. That's a good point. All right, coming up next, the Spurs have a big game tonight, and it might be without Victor Wembanyama. We also have Celtics Thunder tonight. Gordy's going to tell us his favorites to win the awards this year. We're going to get into some fun memories from 1988. And, of course, Gordy's list that he brings every single time. We'll look forward to that. One bracket, $1 million. It's the ESPN 700 at 92.1 FM $1 Million Bracket Challenge. Going live on Selection Sunday, March 15th. Sign up today on ESPN700sports.com. Brought to you by Big Willie's, Game Day Men's Health, Intermountain Bobcat, Budweiser, the Intermountain Sportsman's Expo, Burger Fusion, and the Utah RV Super Show. More with Gordy, live in studio, coming up next on ESPN 700. Gordy Chiesa is live in studio. We were just discussing, as a couple of Northeast guys, that Salt Lake City is good living. Gordy, isn't it?
Very much. Also, living in Salt Lake City, it is really spectacular. And the reason why is the traffic is relatively tame. And people right now are stuck around at I-15. They're screaming right now, no, it's not, Gordy. I'm stuck in I-15. Compared to New York and New Jersey and L.A. and Chicago, guess what? This is tame.
You know, it's funny. I've gotten soft.
No, you haven't.
No,
No way.
No
way. I disagree strongly.
I appreciate the compliment. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yes, it is.
But I had a remote a few weeks back, and it took me 30 minutes to get home. And then I got home. I'm like, I can't believe I just had a 30-minute commute. My father had 90 minutes every day for 30 years, and I'm complaining about sitting in traffic for 30 minutes, Gordy. I've gotten soft.
Yes, you had. No, that way. Well, you've gotten delusionary about that.
Yes.
Not really soft.
Yes, indeed.
Delusionary. But so enjoy it. Hey, Salt Lake City, it's a great place to live. And whether you're older like me or younger people like Spence and even younger like Ace Bailey, those things are enjoy it because it's really a great place to live. And it's a great place to go to school, university, meaning Utah, and the Utah Jazz and all the Mammoth and all the other things that we have here as far as sports and culturally. I'm all for it.
Why do you think it has this stigma among certain NBA players? Like all these guys have podcasts now, right? So when Jaren Jackson Jr. was traded to Salt Lake, you felt like half of the NBA players who have podcasts are apologizing to him that he has to live in Utah on their platforms. Why is that, Gordy? You were in the league forever.
Misconception.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do not let Ronnie Cycli 30 years ago didn't want to come here or Derek Harper affect everything that's going on. All right, so I always say this to people all the time. We'll say in West Hollywood, just say there was 15 hot nightclubs. Here in Utah, there's 5 hot nightclubs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all relative.
Yeah.
With the size of the city, or Atlanta, or New York. All right, Gramercy Park, etc. You feel the area we're going to go right now. So it's all part of it. So Utah for young people, it's happening.
I agree, and the conversation turns interesting because I have a lot of friends who are Jazz fans that just believe because of the way people view Utah and because of the new modern day and age of player empowerment where guys just want to go play wherever they want to. They say this to me. I'm going to say this to you, and I want you to respond. It's impossible to build a championship team in Utah in the NBA in the modern day. To that, you say what?
That it's incorrect. Absolutely. Tell the Spurs that.
Oklahoma City.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You get the right draft picks and the right situation and the right chemistry, you have a chance to win. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's done. You'll see the Thunder right now are going to try to repeat to their credit, and you see the Spurs, they're going to try to not cooperate, and they'll be champions. And yesterday, the Jazz had that 5-year window where we thought that we're going to be champions for that 5 year, every single year.
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately, a guy named Michael Jordan, the world's greatest player, didn't cooperate. But that's a different discussion for a new day.
I know. Oh, man. Michael Jordan took rings off John, Carl, Ewing, Reggie Miller, Kemp, Peyton.
Correct.
Okay, so the Spurs have a big game tonight, and I asked you this when you joined us this week. I mean, Wembanyama is the headliner, and he should be, because I've never seen anything like this in my life. When I saw the picture of him and Rudy standing next to each other, and Wembanyama's like 4 inches taller than Gobert, you're like, what is the deal with this guy? But Gordy, while Wembanyama gets the headlines, and he deserves it, they have 9 players that average double figures, and that's not even Luke Cornett. They are deep. They are good. I mean, they guard. They're well coached. They've got all these big wings that can dribble, pass, and shoot. They've got a vet in De'Aaron Fox. It feels like they've got a little secret sauce, a little something. Tell us about this Spurs challenge against the Nuggets, and then your thoughts on what they can do this year.
Well, the first thing right now against the Nuggets, it's going to be a playoff-type atmosphere. When the Nuggets played last night, they traveled. They're going to play in San Antonio, the Alamo Dome City, but they'll be ready for it. Now, Victor Wembanyama has a right ankle soreness. That's just wear and tear on that body already. All right, so he might play. It's questionable. If I'm them, if things are equal, I would try to rest him because you don't want him to have any lingering part on as far as body. With that said, though, he has trusted allies. De'Aaron Fox. We thought, Spence, 5 years ago, that Fox was a very selfish player for the Sacramento Kings, which he was. And even though he's the fastest of the fast, he played a non-winning game. He goes to the Spurs. One, he matured, as all players would. He got the right environment with him. Now he's averaging 19.2 points per game out of the offense and 6.3 assists. All right, then Stephon Castle from UConn got some toughness. As a two-guard, he knows how to play the game with the ball and without. He's averaging 16.4 points per game and 6.9 assists. So the backcourt is pass-happy.
I love him.
Absolutely.
He's so good.
And he was the fourth pick of the draft.
Yeah.
And he's a difference maker in that he's a foundational piece.
He is, yeah.
All right? And then, so let's add to this. Then Devin Vassell. This guy, 11th pick of the draft when he came out, and I'm making a point about it because he's drafted by the Spurs. He's averaging 14.2 points per game out of the offense, shooting from three-point range, 38.2%. But here's the guy that we don't talk about ever, Julian Champagnie. Again, undrafted.
Yeah.
This guy was not invited to the draft party. All right? He's biting, fighting, clawing, playing in the G League. He can't get a run, and suddenly he gets a chance to play in the NBA, and now he's averaging 11.2 points per game, but even better than that, 38.6 from threes out of the offense, so he spaced the floors. So they have once-in-a-generational talent in Victor Wembanyama, who leads the NBA in block shots at 3 per game. And here's the quick math about it. Averaging 24.7 points per game and 11.1 rebounds. And you get the feeling that it's only the beginning of his career.
He's both terrifying and refreshing.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Because he's so good and he's so raw still. The untapped potential indicates something really exciting is happening. But then in a league that right now for 5.5 months seems to march out a regular season product that at times you're like, do these guys even give a rip? He's crying after a comeback and a win in the regular season. I love that about him, that he cares. I mean, before the All-Star game, he just said, like, look, I am here to take it to you. And he set the tone, so all the other vets had to play hard or else they were going to get embarrassed by this kid. There's so much to love about him, you know?
Very much. And at All-Star game, by the way, revenue-wise, that was the most watched All-Star game spent in 15 years.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
interesting.
15 years.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Huh, okay.
Oh, it led by Victor Wembanyama. It led the charge in a good way. So here we are. A Frenchman helped NBC. And speaking of NBC, Spence, they had a record year. Super Bowl, NBA, and the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so those guys, Spence, at 30 Rock, they're rather happy right now.
Yes, they are. And Gordy, we haven't even talked about Keldon Johnson, Dylan Harper, or Harrison Barnes.
Correct.
Like, for people that aren't watching NBA basketball, I know there's a few of you that don't love it, and I get it because there are a bunch of issues. When you sit down and watch the Spurs play, they strike you as a team that isn't on the up and up. They're here right now. Can they win it this year, Gordy? Can they win the championship?
Yes.
They can.
They can.
Yeah.
Remember now, but also add to this is the first time their playoff bid since 2019.
Yeah.
So in their rebuild, it took them 7 seasons. So in Jazz basketball, for all the fans out there, I think the Jazz will make the playoffs before that, before 7 seasons.
Next year?
Okay, next year. If they progress defensively and the guys are relatively healthy, again, the catchword is healthy, relatively. Mm-hmm. I don't mean like a sprained ankle. I mean like no ACL tear.
Right.
I mean that way. The Jazz should win next year with their roster.
Can we get to 45?
I'm going to say conservatively between 36 to 43.
Okay. That would be a great step. And that would be a good, positive step.
They'll put him in the play-in tournament, and then it's so important to play in meaningful games. That's the first thing, especially late in the season. And you get to it's play-in tournament. People say, well, who cares about that? Guess what? If you're a good team that had injuries during the year, we'll see like the Clippers did. All right? And so the Clippers now are going to try to be in a play-in tournament, and then what? Okay, we think with our veteran team, we can upset so-and-so in the first round. Mm-hmm. That's in their building, that's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
So it's so important to try to do that, to get into the play-in tournament. And the Jazz, hopefully, I think they have a chance to do it.
And which would be a huge win if the Jazz are able to take that next step up. I'm looking at the Clippers right now. They're at 8. They're not going to, I don't think they're 5 games back of Phoenix and a full 6.5 behind Minnesota. But yeah, if they get like the Rockets in the first round with No Van Vliet or something, I mean, you could see the Clippers beating the Rockets 4 times in 7 tries with our guy Jeff Van Gundy on the bench calling the defense. Yeah.
Very much. Also, and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard in playoff series, he's real. He can score 40 on a road playoff game and guard the other guy's star scorer.
Yep.
So that'd be, hey, Spence, if that was a matchup, Kawhi versus KD.
Mm-hmm.
That's made for television.
Yeah, I don't think Durant wants any of that at this point, at his age. All due respect to KD, of course.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And these are all the things that it's so intriguing. There's nothing regular about the playoffs.
Right.
Nothing.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing regular about it. And the reason why each passing round in the playoffs, the intensity levels kicked up 3 notches.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost impossible to score in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need people who have ball skills
that
can get the ball in the lane and put the ball and touch 2 feet in the lane off the dribble to make the help defense come at you to stop the penetration and then rotate out to the corners or make those Euro step layups or that old school pull-up jump shot. It was nice knowing you.
Before we get over to your awards, that's where I want to go next. I wanted to just kick the tires real quick on New York, and then just the Eastern Conference as a whole. So Detroit recently dropped 4 straight. Our old buddy Dennis Lindsey is there helping build that team. There's a lot to like about the Pistons. And then Tatum comes back, which changes the entire landscape of the whole East because Jaylen Brown is an MVP candidate in his own right. The Cavs grab Harden. We've seen Harden in the playoffs, though. The Knicks at times look like they'll have something to say about it, and then they go on they were 2-7 or something, 2-9 or something like that, and like prior to the new year, they just got smoked a couple of times in LA. You referenced at times that'll happen with teams that stay in LA for a while. So I guess what I'll ask you, it feels like the 4 teams, right? Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs. Are those the 4 teams you think can come out of the East?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Very much. Yeah.
Okay.
And all 4 have good rosters, but also not perfect rosters. So the question is, what star players, meaning plural, can our 3 best players in the fourth quarter outplay your 3 best players in games 5, 6, and 7?
Mm-hmm.
And when we say that, those 3 best players have to be two-way performers, both offense and defense and offense, to what? Win by 1 on the road.
Right.
And that's why it's so important. And then when the ball swung around perimeter, can the secondary players make open rainbow 3-point shots? Or if I'm a rebounder, I crash the paint area and get a stick back or get 2 free throws to put us up.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are all situational things that as a coach we think about all the time. Is that do we have enough reps to our other players to give them confidence to make shots in playoff games?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fascinating to watch. It'll be Jim Dolan, your buddy, went on WFAN this week and said we have to go to the finals. Well, you fired a great coach that could have taken you there. I'm not trying to disrespect Mike Brown. I have tremendous respect for coaches and coaching in the industry. I never asked you, what'd you think of them moving on from Tom?
It was a mistake.
Oh, my gosh. It was.
Tom Thibodeau directed his team to the best record in 25 years, the conference finals.
Yep.
All right. So they were criticizing that Tom didn't develop his bench enough. All right. I never knew a good player didn't want to play the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
When we took out John Stockton and Karl Malone, they gave us that, hey, we love you, dog. Why am I not in the game right now?
Right. Yeah.
That's all part of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, again, this is a social media type situations now.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it.
Yep.
And again, if he asked Brunson, guess what? I want to play the whole game
For sure.
if I can.
Let's get over to your awards, Gordy. I don't want to end our segment without getting to the stuff you prepared. A lot of conversation around MVP, right? The games played situation could come into play, but right now, who do you like to potentially win the MVP in the NBA?
Number 5, Luka Doncic. 4, Victor Wembanyama. 3, Kate Cunningham. 2, Nikolai Jokic. And 1, the winner, last year's winner also, my favorite Canadian, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
You still like Shea to get it done, huh?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. I mean, there's no argument there. All right, sixth man of the year. We saw Jordan Clarkson back in town last night. He's the only Jazz man to win the award. Who do you think gets sixth man this year?
Okay, this year, number 3, Hyman Jaquez. Number 2, Naz Reid. Number 1 from the Spurs, Keldon Johnson.
Oh, love it. Okay, yeah, he's
Keldon
been really good for them.
And I would love Caruso. If they gave it sixth man of the year defensively, I would vote Caruso then.
For sure. All right, defensive player of the year. I have a sneaky suspicion I know where you're going to go here, but I'll give you the space. Who wins the award this year?
Okay, number 3, Derek White of the Celtics. One of the most underrated two-way players in the NBA. Incredible. Number 2, Chet Holmgren. Number 1, Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah. And Rudy, for a minute, looked like he might be back in the mix for it this year, but he's already won it 4 times. Wembanyama scares dudes to shoot it from 3 when he's in the lane because he can close out. All right, rookie of the year. This is an interesting one. I feel like there's maybe a two-headed race, but who do you think's in the mix to win rookie of the year?
Okay. Number 4, Derek Queen of the Pelicans. Number 3, VJ Edgecombe of the 76ers. Number 2, Cooper Flagg of the Mavs.
What?
I love it. People right now, Gordy, Gordy, you're tripping. Gordy, what's wrong with you? And number 1, Con Kneppel of the Hornets.
You think Con's going to – do you think he will win the award?
Yes.
You do?
Am I voting or the media is voting?
You're voting.
All right, if I'm voting, I'm looking at the prism of a coach.
Yeah.
Con Kneppel. You know, I love Cooper Flagg, but I go Kneppel.
Interesting.
He's more impactful for his group. He's made the most NBA threes as a rookie in the history of basketball.
Yeah.
Even more than Steph Curry.
Yep.
Which is saying a lot.
It is.
By the way, Steph's the greatest shooter of all time. Number 2 is Ray Allen.
Oh, Ray. The UConn Ray. If a jump shot was defined in the dictionary, it might be Ray Allen's.
Correct.
That's the way it's supposed to look, right? All right, let's see. Coach of the year now. Who are your candidates to win Coach of the Year?
Okay. Number 4, Ime Udoka of the Rockets. Number 3, Joe Mazzulla of the Celtics. Number 2, Charles Lee of the Hornets. Number 1, Mitch Johnson of the Spurs.
Hard to argue with that. I didn't know much about Mitch before he got the job. I would imagine you've been following his career because you know all these guys, yeah?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's a long-time assistant in the NBA, and his father played in the NBA, Johnny Johnson.
Oh, that's his dad. Okay.
That's his dad. Played for the Seattle Supersonics at that time. His father was a 6'7" wingman that could shoot the ball. This is his son. He's around basketball very similar to you, Scott, Spence, your whole life. You know the game, and so does Mitch right now. He's coaching the team. He worked for Greg Popovich, who coached the Spurs for 29 great seasons, and now it's Mitch's turn. He has Wembanyama. I get it. I understand it. But also he's done a good job with all the other pieces to make them into a cohesive unit.
Final one, and this is the only one that I think will have a Jazz player in the mix, and that would be most improved player this year, Gordy. Who do you like?
My most improved player this year. Number 5. Jalen Duren of the Pistons. Number 4, Keontae George of the Jazz. Number 2. My notes right. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
My apologies.
No, you're good. You're good.
Number 2, Austin Reeves of the Lakers. And number 1, Jalen Johnson of the Hawks.
I like it. He's played really well for Quinn there. And a two-way guy, too. He guards, right?
Yes, he can. Absolutely.
Okay, Gordy. It is time for the list. We love it. Every time you stop by, you got a list. For the listeners, Gordy shows up, and you can see it on YouTube with, I don't even know how many pages of notes stapled together. You've got some laminated notes. So you keep all of these. Do you have any idea how many cardboard boxes full of notes you have at your home?
30.
30. Okay. All right.
Remember, I've been doing this for 53 years.
Yeah, I was going to guess more. Because, I mean, you always and they're up-to-date notes.
Yeah, update them, yeah.
During the Jazz game, I look over, you got your lamp on, you're taking notes during the game.
Yeah.
So tell our listeners the list you prepared for us, and we'll end after this hit. Gordy, what do you got?
The list today is a dozen of the all-time greatest New York Knicks players.
Love it.
A dozen, meaning 12. Quickly. The New York Knicks started in 1946-47. That was the first year of the NBA. The Knicks have won 2 titles in their franchise history, They are 1970 and 1973. The following list is a player's body of work as a Knick player, not with other teams. So just try to view it as a Knick player. All right, number 12, Charles Oakley, the 12th greatest Knick player, all-star, no titles, prideful interior defensive player, physical rebounder. In the 1990 decade, he led the charge for the Knicks as far as their overall defensive intensity. Number 11 all-time, Allen Houston, all-star player, no titles, sweet jump shooter. During the 1990s and 2000, he was one of the elite players in the NBA as far as shooting the ball, but also a clutch player. Number 10 all-time. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. One time he averaged 28 points a game. When Wilt scored 100 points in the game in 1962, this guy scored 47 points, and he wasn't the high scorer in the game. His name is Richie Guerin. Richie Guerin was a rugged perimeter scorer and a defensive guardian. He played in late 50s and 1960s. He was an all-star. He tried to attempt to guard Oscar Robertson and Jerry West when they were in their prime. The 9th greatest ever Knickerbocker. He's in the Hall of Fame. One time he ran for the United States presidency back in 1992. His name was Bill Bradley. He was the unbelievable precision shooter as far as footwork and ball mover. Number 8 all-time Knickerbocker, Dave DeBusschere, Hall of Famer, 2 NBA titles, rugged defensive player, baseline shooter. By the way, Spence, he made the first basket in the new Maxwell Garden, which is below Penn Station for all the New Yorkers out there, railway station. He scored the first basket on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1968, as a member of the Detroit Pistons, not even as a Knickerbocker, Pistons. Number 7, he played last night. He had 2 points at halftime. He scored 28 for the game. He's the 7th greatest Knickerbocker player. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's an all-NBA player. He lives in the paint. He lives in the paint, Spence, not in White Plains, New York, Spence. Rick Brunson.
Okay. Jalen.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Jalen
Rick's
Brunson.
kid.
Sorry, Jalen Brunson, pardon me.
Rick is the coach. He was his father.
Yeah.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Jalen Brunson, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 all-time, Earl Monroe, nicknamed the Pearl, Hall of Famer, 1 NBA title. His nickname was Black Jesus. You know why, Spence? Because he was always performing miracles on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible spin dribbler.
I am so excited to see the rest of it because I've got names floating around in my head. I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Number 5, Bernard King.
Okay.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
No NBA titles. Later on in his career, he became the first player in NBA history to make the All-Star team after major reconstruction surgery with a torn ACL knee in 1991. We made the All-Star team in a yesteryear with different technology when he's a member of the Washington Bullets, which is now what? The Wizards. Number 4 all-time. Recently inducted to the Hall of Fame, Carmelo Anthony. Number 4 all-time. No titles. We know about his game. He had that foot fake jump shot. It was legendary, and he was a good rebounder, and in clutch time, he could score points. Number 3 all-time Knickerbocker, Willis Reed. Nickname was the captain. 2 NBA titles. Remember the iconic moment in Game 7 on May 8th, 1970, when he was battling severe torn thigh injury. They shot a cortisone shot in his hip right before the game. Dr. James Parks, he limped onto the court in front of a roaring crowd. It's like legendary. He made his first 2 jump shots against Wilt Chamberlain, who wouldn't go guard him on perimeter, and then the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most one of the most greatest moments in the history of any sport, especially in New York basketball. Number 2, greatest Knickerbocker, Walt Clyde Frazier, Hall of Famer. He was cool before it was cool. All right, he wore these famous Puma sneakers that were legendary on the street, whether it's L.A. or whether it's New York. Everybody wanted a pair of Puma sneakers. He had lightning fast hands. He was absolutely an amazing thief. And the number 1 player of all time, the Knickerbockers. We saw him last night sitting on courtside. I'll call him a warrior because he was the pride of the Knicks for so many years. He was the first pick of the draft in 1985. I'm talking about Patrick Ewing, Hall of Famer. incredible scorer, rebounder, shot blocker. He was a foundational piece. It's just so unfortunate that because of Michael Jordan's brilliance and all the other guys in that era, he didn't get a championship.
Well said. No notes, Gordy. Wonderful job. Love it. I'm glad you did the Knicks too. While I was sitting, because I was just kind of going down memory lane, just listening to you.
Anybody you think could be on that list?
Well, I mean, I'm a Starks guy, but you can't put him ahead of Oak. Oak was more important to that team. I like that you had Allen Houston on the list. Sprewell had some really, really good years. Camby had some really, really good years. But so I'm going to make Porter mad here. I feel like Melo at 4 is high. Porter loves Melo. And look, you're not wrong. I do like that you had Ewing at 1. I actually thought you were going to put Clyde there because he had won the titles, right? And Patrick never won it. Because the game that Willis Reed hit the 2 jumpers, Walt had like 36 and 19, right?
36 points, 19 assists, and unbelievable lightning steals that ignite the crowd.
Yeah.
Spence, what about your Pumas?
I do have a pair of Pumas. I don't wear them. I can't pull them off like Clyde, who now has the suits as he's a broadcaster, as you know. Well, look, Gordy, it's been a pleasure. I miss doing this, so I'm glad we could do it this week. Thank you for your time, sir, okay?
Thanks, Spence. Good luck. Peace out.
The great Gordy Chiesa, who should be in the Naismith Hall of Fame. Okay, that is my goal, to get Gordy into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Before we catch a break, we have a new client on the show, okay? And I've had an opportunity to go experience this technology myself. I'm going through these treatments, and trust me, they work. I'll just say that. It's Wasatch Medical Spa, clinically proven technology, trusted in women's intimate wellness for over 10 years, and now they've adapted it for men. It's the first place in Utah to offer what's called Apex RF, okay? Wasatch Medical Spa, Apex RF, sexual wellness for men. It's a non-surgical, drug-free treatment. No pills, no injections, no downtime. Every patient that they've had so far said they would recommend it to others, and now I'm one of their patients. I would recommend it to you. It's discreet, comfortable, and private. You're back to your day immediately. Your first visit is an easy 30-minute free consultation with no obligation. So essentially, it's like this warm gel / like pressure tool they have with Apex RF. It doesn't hurt at all. It's actually very comfortable. Very nice people over there. So it's on the scope of erectile dysfunction all the way on one side to just wanting to improve your experience on the other. So it doesn't just have to be fully for erectile dysfunction. If you're just looking for better functionality with your partner, they also help with that as well. So because they're a client on the show, your first appointment is 50% off. You're saving $300, okay? It's serious savings. So trust me, go do it. You will see results wherever you are on the spectrum of what I just explained at WasatchMedicalSpa.com. It's WasatchMedicalSpa.com. Make sure to tell them you heard me talking about it. They're giving you 50% off. You are saving $300. Your wife or partner will thank you. I can tell you that much. WasatchMedicalSpa.com. All right, more coming up on ESPN 700. It is indeed Sports Court time. We do it every Thursday right about now with our good friends Garrett and Preston Handy from the law firm of Handy and Handy. Gentlemen, happy Thursday. How we doing?
Hey, good, Spence. Just me today, just Garrett.
Oh, well, that's good news. That put me in a better mood.
There you go.
All right, Garrett, in order to become a lawyer, you have to go to law school. And in order to graduate law school, you have to be a good student. And I gave you a homework assignment, and of course, you did the work. So, I mean, I'll just speak for myself. When the Chauncey Billups stuff first came down, I knew that it wasn't good, but he's in some hot water, isn't he?
He is in a lot of hot water. He and about, I think, 30 other defendants. I mean, it's a huge case. But you're right. I mean, he's been charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and wire fraud for this a rigged poker scheme, right? And so again, these charges came out last October, and it was kind of a bombshell. This indictment, right, with again like 30 people, and that this poker ring was backed by some different mafia crime families, and it was a very sophisticated operation. You know, it involved I mean, X-ray tables and rigged cards and decks and things like that, and of course a bunch of signs and signals from the people at the poker table. But Chauncey Billups, what they called him, he was the face card, a face card, and what that means is they were using him as kind of bait to lure in unwitting poker players to the table, right? It was like, hey, you get a chance to come play poker with Chauncey Billups. You know, it'll be a lot of fun. You get to hang out with him and ultimately lose a bunch of money. But and so that's what they were saying. He was used to lure these people in. But as part of it, it's not just that, but that he's taken a cut, right? He knew what the scheme was, and that he's going along with it. And so, of course, he's pled not guilty. I mean, I think probably all of the defendants pled not guilty. But what's happened this week, just to give you a quick little update, is they did have kind of a status hearing in front of the judge. Again, and they've got to manage a big case like this with this many defendants. But prosecutors indicated that they're preparing plea deals for at least a dozen of these defendants, maybe 24 of these defendants. So I think we're going to quickly see this thing get whittled down. You've got probably a lot of defendants pointing fingers at each other, or you know, and probably, I would guess, implicating Chauncey Billups in that. The judge indicated that he wanted to move this along and looking at a November 2nd trial date. The other thing that came out that I thought was interesting, Spence, is that prosecutors said they have over 4 terabytes of data. They have 100,000 pages of phone and bank records as part of their evidence in this case. And so the defendants have been able to see this evidence at this point, but it is been provided under a protective order. So all of us, we don't really know, but it seems like the government, the Justice Department, has a lot on Chauncey Billups. So, I mean, we'll see if he's going to be one of these ones that's going to be presented with a plea deal or not. I mean, he's obviously the most high-profile person in the entire case.
And, you know, from what I've read, and look, it's easy to write an incendiary headline that says Chauncey Billups faces 40 years in prison. But both of these charges carry a maximum prison sentence of 20 years. And quick math wrote, 40. 20 times 2 is 40. So when it comes to a plea deal, I never want to put you in a position to, guess what would happen when it comes to the law. But if he's facing a maximum of 40 years, is it possible that he's able to avoid jail time at all?
I do think it's possible. And I mean, again, that's going to depend on what kind of deal his lawyers can work out. And I expect it will come down to that. I mean, I'm not aware of any other criminal history that Chauncey Billups has. I mean, assuming he's got a clean record, he's going to have a story, of course, that he's a victim in this, right? He didn't know what was going on. I'm sure will be the story. Another way to maybe deal with this is some financial restitution, right? You've got these victims who lost money, and perhaps as part of the deal, Chauncey Billups can put up some money for restitution. Maybe he's put on probation, things like that, and maybe can avoid some jail time or significant jail time. I mean, I have a hard time seeing he's just not going to do 20 years or 40 or I don't think, or 5 or 10.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be much.
All right, moving over to the world of college football, Chris Partridge, who was with Michigan, who's now coached by Kyle Whittingham. I just have to say that out loud because it's still really weird. He was fired during the whole Connor Stalions sign stealing scandal, is now suing the school. What can you tell us?
Yeah, well, actually, he when he got fired by University of Michigan, he's now with the Seahawks. He's a linebackers coach for the Seahawks, which I think is interesting because part of his whole allegation here is that he was a scapegoat, basically, right? He said, hey, you guys all pointed the fingers at me. You implicated me in this scheme. And it turns out the NCAA did an investigation and found that he was cleared of any wrongdoing. Nonetheless, he lost his job and now he's working in the NFL. But his contention is that, hey, I really wanted to be a college coach, and I ultimately want to be a college football coach. But this scandal, even though I wasn't involved and I was cleared, has tainted my reputation and is making it hard for me to do that. I mean, so I think it's interesting from a damages standpoint. I mean, he's making more money, I guess, with the Seahawks maybe than he did at Michigan. I don't know. But I mean, there's a lot of, I think pretty damning evidence here that he, even you had the AD of Michigan, who's a defendant in this case. So again, Kyle Whittingham's boss is a defendant here, along with the board of trustees and the school. Where they the allegation was that the AD at the end of this investigation shook Chris Partridge's hand and was like, hey, sorry you had to, get involved in this. We had to point the finger at somebody, more or less. So anyway, this lawsuit's about him trying to clear his name.
Here's a name I haven't heard in quite some time, Michael Johnson, who once upon a time was a Olympic gold medalist, the fastest man in the world. Accused of secretly paying himself $500K as this Grand Slam track has collapsed. So what should we know here?
Yeah, so Grand Slam track, and I hadn't really heard of this. And last year was the inaugural season of this, I guess, a league, right? And so the idea is, hey, we're going to have these different track meets, and we're going to attract the biggest names and stars in the sport from around the world. They were going to have 3 meets in the U.S. They were going to have 1 in Jamaica. And so, of course, if you're going to organize a league like this from the ground up, it costs money. And so they had investors, and there's millions of dollars involved to do this. And they've had, they had a few of these meets last year, and unfortunately, people just didn't show up. And so, Grand Slam track, Michael Johnson's, his baby here, they weren't making money. They're losing a lot of money, and so. Fast forward to December, and they filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And so, of course, in a bankruptcy, you've got all of these creditors, right? You've got all these people who invested, including athletes who were owed money, who participated, and you've got all of them that are basically hung out to dry and wondering, well, are we going to get any of our money back out of this bankruptcy? And so one of the things that's come up is last summer, as Grand Slam track is taking a nosedive and it's not looking good, it looks like they're going under. Michael Johnson cuts himself a $500,000 check, is the allegation in the lawsuit. Without any oversight, without any, board members or anybody approving that. And so these other creditors who filed this lawsuit said, hey, wait a minute, Michael Johnson, why did you get paid first? And Michael Johnson's position is, well, he had $2 million of his own money in this venture to support it. And so he's a creditor too, essentially, and wanted his money back. But, this just comes down to a kind of a creditor's right thing and who's going to get paid first. So anyway, just didn't make it. Grand Slam track, not going to happen, not coming to a arena near you. You're not going to see it now.
All right, final one for today. And this has been such a bizarre story. In all the years of either watching college basketball, being around college basketball, covering college basketball, I never thought I would see a team literally being held ransom when the WAC announced that if you don't give us $1 million by 5 o'clock, you cannot play in our tournament. Now, it's been resolved. UVU is going to play, but unpack this for us. How'd this go down?
Well, yeah, it's interesting, and we've been talking about this now for several weeks when this thing started happening because, of course, it comes out of UVU wanting to leave the conference, and the contract with the WAC was, if you leave the conference, you'll pay $1 million. I mean, more or less. And UVU said, no, we're not going to pay it. And so, the WAC files a lawsuit against UVU in Texas, and UVU files here in the state of Utah. And what they sought in Utah was a preliminary injunction and a temporary restraining order, because they said, whoa, wait a minute. The WAC is threatening to, like you said, hold them hostage, and they're not going to let the players play in any WAC tournaments, not going to televise the games, not going to give many awards or medals, and that this was going to harm these student athletes. And so, I kind of thought this had, in some ways, Spence, had been put to bed. I mean, the judge granted the TRO and the injunction, and it looked like UVU is going to play in the tournament and everything's fine. Well, this week, the WAC shows up and says, hey, wait a minute, you were supposed to put that $1 million in escrow with the court, essentially, while we sort out, our underlying disputes about the contract and whether we're owed the $1 million or not, and you haven't done it, and there's a deadline coming in. You've got to do it by, the deadline they were given was Tuesday at 5 p.m. And so the WAC's arguing, hey, if you don't put the money in escrow, then the temporary restraining order is not in effect, and we're going to hold UVU out of the tournament. So, I mean, it looks like UVU scrambled, like you said, they did, and the money got deposited. It's with the court, and so now they can fight over it, who's going to get it. But in the meantime, the tournament's going on, and UVU's, fortunately, they're able to play.
Yes, sir. All right, Garrett, appreciate the time, buddy. Before I set you loose, for any of our listeners who have legal questions, how can they get a hold of you over at Handy and Handy?
Yeah, I'd love to talk to any of the listeners out there with your legal questions, especially in the area of personal injury. As you mentioned, we help people who've been injured in accidents. You can give us a call at 801-264-6677 or go to our website, handylawutah.com.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great weekend. Okay, we'll chat next week.
Hey, yeah, thank you, Spence.
All right, Garrett Handy. Before we catch a break, the world of professional golf is honed in on what they call the fifth major. That would be the Players' Championship. You can see it on NBC and ESPN Plus, Golf Channel, and Peacock. Those are your outlets this week. It's TPC Sawgrass in Point Verde Beach, Florida. And Maverick McNeely, in addition to Lee Hodges, Sepp Straka, Sahith Theegala, and Austin Smotherman, all are at 5 under par. Sahith is through 17. Smotherman is through 14, so he's raking today. Following golfers at 4 under, it's Justin Thomas, Russell Henley, and Taylor Moore. And then Tony Finau is tied for 9th right now. Good round today for Tony on a tough golf course. Ludwig Oberg, Tommy Fleetwood, Victor Hovland at 3 under as well. Xander Schauffele just birdied. He's at 3 under now. So is Cam Young. So a good leaderboard shaping up. Where is Scotty Scheffler? What is going on with this guy as of late? Scotty Scheffler even today. He has not been near as dominant as he was prior to. So there you go. There's your PGA Tour update. It's brought to you by friends at You Went to Golf. This week at You Went to Golf by Worldwide Golf is the tailor-made fitting and bonus trader event, March 12th through the 15th. Take advantage of the 50% bonus trade-in towards your new purchase. You Went to Golf by Worldwide Golf. Get there. PGA Tour update style. All right, we'll catch a break. Final hour of the show on a Thursday is next. We got 3 hours in the books. We got 1 hour to go. We'll kind of bounce around and give you a little bit of an update on the world of sports, some local stuff. Utah State won earlier today. BYU's about to tip off. Mammoth in action. Jazz lost to the Knicks last night. Little RSL. A lot going on. Keep it here on ESPN 700. All right, let's go. Drive at 5 time, Thursday afternoon style. Happy Thursday to you. We've had a nice, lovely day here in Salt Lake City where the sun has been shining for most of the day, and we're looking at about 58 degrees or so. We've got a good forecast. It's going to be a little bit chilly coming up on Sunday, but it'll warm up next week, and we're going to hit 80 degrees in Salt Lake City in March next week. Happy Thursday. Thanks for making us a part of your day. We've had a really, really busy show reacting to, well, a bunch of different things. The madness of March is going on right now. BYU just tipped off. They've got Houston tonight. Houston's a 9.5-point favorite. At least they were as of tip. Early, 2 minutes in, Houston leads 2-0. Utah State was able to get it done earlier today against UNLV, a team that beat them twice. Once in Vegas and once in Logan, and Utah State trucked them. It was 80-60. So Utah State marches on to the Mountain West Conference quarterfinal. And a big-time matchup going on right now. Just tipped off. Duke, Florida State. Florida State's this uprising team that has a lot of really talented players, and Duke is one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country. Give you an update from the Big 12 tournament. Arizona trounced UCF 81-59, and Iowa State had no problems with Texas Tech 75-53. So a big night ahead in the world of college basketball as we're high-speed head to the NCAA tournament. The Big East quarterfinal is tipping off momentarily on FS1 between UConn and Xavier. We'll have TCU and Kansas a little bit later on after BYU and Houston are done. We got Clemson and Carolina. Arizona, as I referenced, they rolled. No problem there. And Miami of Ohio, this upstart team that a lot of people have been talking about, 31-0 until today. They lose to UMass. Not very good. Miami upset Louisville, and Tennessee was able to hold off Auburn despite a late challenge. Some good NBA basketball tonight, which is a rare thing to say in the regular season with a league that doesn't really take it seriously. The 76ers and the Pistons are on Prime Video. Not sure if Victor Wembanyama is going to play, but the Nuggets are in San Antonio to take on the Spurs. And then we got Celtics Thunder. That's going to be your later game on Prime Video after the early one's done. The Utah Jazz lost to the New York Knicks last night. Got off to a really hot start, hitting 11 of their first 13 three-point attempts. And then, as the Jazz are going to need to do, because, look, they've been winning too much as of late. two of three before last night. Currently fifth in the lottery odds. Looks like they're going to hold on to that asset, but they've got some work to do, and the Knicks were able to get it done with a big-time second half. The Knicks actually needed to win that game badly because every team that plays against another team, and that team is not trying to win, you need to win those games. There you go. There's the analysis of NBA basketball. Good to see Jordan Clarkson back in the building. Last night, the Utah Jazz gave him a nice honor as far as the video goes. So it was great to see JC back in the building as the Jazz will take the night off tonight, and then they're going to be in Portland coming up tomorrow. In case you missed it, if you ever had a question about whether or not Morgan Scalley was a Utah man, well, he answered it with his pocketbook today. Morgan Scalley has pledged a gift of $2 million to the Utah football program, announced by Mark Harlan earlier today. Here's what Morgan had to say, quote, "The University of Utah, and particularly Utah athletics, have been an extremely important and influential part of my life for as long as I can remember. My love for this place includes a vision of where we can go, what we can achieve, and what it will require an increased effort from everyone who shares in that vision. Liz and I simply wanted to do something for this amazing place that shows our faith in and commitment to the future of this incredible university and how excited we are for what's to come." This from Mark Harlan, quote, "This extraordinary commitment by Morgan and Liz Scalley speaks to everything that makes them special and demonstrates their absolute love for the University of Utah. Coach Scalley's vision for the future of the football program is not just a dream, but something that he actively works to bring to reality every day. On behalf of the university and Utah athletics, I want to express my gratitude for the generosity and commitment of Morgan and his family." Of course, this comes during a time of a lot of people questioning whether or not Utah can keep up with some of their peers and big spenders in the Big 12, namely the team that plays about 40, 45 miles down south that has a tremendous amount of money coming in generated from powerful boosters and alums that have made a lot of money and care a lot about BYU athletics, and it's bred a lot of results for their basketball program and their football program. We still have not heard about the culmination or the finalizing of the private equity deal that appears to be imminent with Otro Capital, but that has not been made official yet, nor have the details been released. So a really cool thing. We were talking about this earlier. I mean, this is to me, it strikes a tone of leadership, not just as a football coach, but a man who's willing to put his money where his mouth is. And as I referenced earlier, if you are fortunate enough to have founded a company or running a company, or maybe you inherited a tremendous amount of wealth, congratulations to you. If you care about Utah athletics, the best way you can show them, excuse me, in the modern day and age of college athletics is the power of the purse, power of the pocketbook. The football program so far has been able to maintain its level of success. The basketball team badly needs help. Maybe you give back in the form of being a season ticket holder. Maybe you give back in the form of, being a booster as far as what you can afford. I mean, nobody's asking you to give what you don't have to give. But we knew what the reality of this thing was going to be when NIL and transfer portal became the new norm. And as Coach Witt said every time he was asked, if you don't have NIL, you don't have anything. So a real cool gesture by Morgan Scalley, if any of you have ever questioned whether or not he's committed to not just his job, but the University of Utah specifically. As he said himself at his press conference, he is forever a Ute, and he showed that today. Let's do some basketball, catch a break. But before we catch a break, before I forget, I have a read. It's What's for Dinner. Now, if you haven't been here, I've been talking about them for a while. And I went again this week because Burger Fusion is among the best burger places I've ever been to, not just in Utah, but anywhere. It's new. It's in Trolley Square, right around the corner from Whole Foods. Brand new burger spot just west of Whole Foods. A bunch of unique burgers that I've never really heard of before. It's all Wagyu beef. It is mouth-watering stuff. They've got fries, onion rings. They've got great appetizers. They've got great sauces that you can dip your appetizers in, not just fry sauce, but they've got a barbecue sauce. The Velvet Smoke Show is what I went with this week. It's going to sound a little interesting, but I promise it works. It's creamy peanut butter, berry jam, caramelized onions, hot honey pickles with pepper, jelly, aioli. It is unreal. I'm telling you, it is excellent. So you can order like DoorDash to go, but typically it'll show up cold. I would encourage you go in to eat or go pick it up. I've done both those things. They've got fried Havarti pickles, fries, mozzarella squares, and much more. So definitely check them out. Okay, go stop by tonight. Burger Fusion. It's right in Trolley. It's right around the corner from Whole Foods and Trolley Square. You guys know where it is. 490, 700 East, and 490 South. It's our good friends at Burger Fusion. All right, we'll do some basketball with the. All right, final segment of the program today on this Thursday afternoon. Porter, real quick, how much time do we have in this segment? I couldn't hear you when you said it when we were coming in. How much time do we have left?
6 to 7 minutes here.
What is the origin story of this thing? The 6-7 thing that like all my nephews who are like 12 and 13 and 14, they'll say it and laugh like it's funny.
I genuinely think it's just a number thing. Like, I don't think there's a real story behind it outside of it became a little thing and then adults were annoyed by it, so kids went in on it.
Huh. So now that's all it is. Just they say 6-7 and it's funny.
Yeah.
Kids are dumb.
To my knowledge.
Kids are ridiculous.
Agreed.
Not all kids. Well, Connor's 25 now. So, I raised a man. He is now grown. Really heartwarming, honestly emotional story. So you probably heard that last month there was a shooting at a Rhode Island hockey game. So it was an angry ex-husband, as the story goes, named Robert Dorgan. And he showed up to this hockey game and shot a lady named Rhonda Dorgan, his ex-wife, her brother Aiden Dorgan, and then a man named Gerald Dorgan, who is Rhonda Dorgan's father. Well, today, Colin Dorgan, who is Rhonda's son and who lost a mother, a brother, and a grandfather, scored the overtime goal to send his team to the hockey semifinals in that same ice rink. Can you imagine that? I mean, I saw the highlight and I almost started crying. And you should go look this up. This is one of those like, okay, you guys knock on sports moments. Sports is really, really cool. Because this kid was mobbed by his teammates afterwards. And the coach gave an interview after the game saying there was no dry eyes in the stands. So this poor kid, this hockey player, lost 3 family members in a mass shooting at the ice rink last month, scored a double overtime goal to lift his team to the semifinals. My gosh, man. I'm getting emotional just talking about it. Go watch the highlight. It's worth your time. And his teammates just hugging him. Goodness gracious. All right. There you go. We'll end the show today with a real beautiful emotional story, just a really cool moment for a kid that I can't even talking about, going through the unimaginable. I can't even imagine what that must be like. College hoops tonight. No easy way to transition from that. BYU Houston going on right now. There's a ton of awesome college and NBA basketball tonight. The Mammoth are in action taking on Chicago. So little hockey, if you'd like. By the way, Kyler Murray is going to play for the Vikings. 1 year for Kyler Murray. I didn't see that one coming. I mean, we've got Geno Smith, so, no big deal. What do you make of J.J. McCarthy just can't stay healthy. And when he is, I don't know, man.
Right.
I was never a huge fan of that. What do you make of Kyler Murray going to the Vikings?
I think that if he's your backup, you could do worse. If he's your starting quarterback going into the season, I urge caution.
Yeah.
I would very much rather J.J. McCarthy be under center than one Kyler Murray, although he's very talented. He's very talented. He just doesn't have certain tools that you need for an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, there was a moment in time where I thought he was going to be really good, even though he's just small. He's just not very big. Fun to watch, but can't stay healthy. I think he played 30 of the final 55 games. Only one playoff game. There you go. All right, Porter, let's get out of here. I need a weekend. I'm glad tomorrow's Friday. What can our listeners expect on this radio show?
Friday edition of The Drive. We're going to talk some NBA, doubling up on the daily assist. Zach Harper, Howard Beck, they both stopped by the program. I believe we'll have Paul Pugmire talking some golf for the PGA Tour leaderboard update, of course, brought to you by our friends at Uinta Golf. And then friend of the show, friend of the program, Frank Caliendo is going to drop by in studio before his Friday and Saturday shows at Wise Guys.
I get to meet and hang out with Frank Caliendo tomorrow. How cool is that? We'll look forward to that, so stay tuned. Special thank you today to Brian Dunseth, Chris Camerani, and Gordy Chiesa for any of the sound you missed from the program. The website is ESPN700sports.com. Grab our app. Take us on the go. Our ESPN 700 app is free in the App Store and the Google Play Store. And then for what we do in our space, 4 hours every day, podcast page is where you go. It's called The Drive with Spence Checketts. It's available wherever you get your shows. So subscribe, rate, review, say nice things in those comments, and give us all the stars, please. It helps. He's Porter. I'm Spence saying goodnight. Have a great Thursday evening, and we will talk to you on a Friday weekend edition of The Drive. And as always, you can catch it right here